So I don't know.
Recording, and we are back. What's up, guys? Episode 2 of the podcast.
So I was talking to my boy about this like a while back. So I was talking about like how goonery, in my opinion, is like being a goon is like psychosis, right? So I feel like I don't even know what the actual definition of psychosis is, but like just the idea that like detachment from reality, and then essentially, in my opinion, it's just like you're more so reacting rather than actually like pragmatically thinking to things, right? So I feel like you look at a lot of goons, right? Like they're literally dealing with psychosis. Like the idea of like, I don't give a fuck, you know, I'm gonna pull up a guy on sight, you know, like that. Just that the concept of like with being willing to rob someone or being willing to like shoot or get shot. It's like you have to be insane to do that, and I think that happens because you live in like an area that's so impoverished that you're so used to seeing such fucked up shit. And it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast. This Ed Calderon guy. He's like this former Mexican, like...
Oh, yeah.
And he talks about some things in Mexico, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like some hood shit, bro. Like some of the cartel shit, yeah, that sounds very fucking similar. And I just think, man, like, yo, like, you have it, it sounds terrible, but you have enough bad things happen to you to make you a bad person.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really sad, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sadness in the world. I mean, according to some recent statistics, as much as like 12% of Americans make less than like 36K a year, combined income for family of four. Family of four, like that's so little money for 4 people. You know, I mean, of course, the cost of living depends on the state. Like Wyoming is going to be super cheap compared to like New York or whatever, but like that's still a really sad statistic.
I heard the average Appalachian family survives on less than $12,000 a year.
Whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and I don't want to generalize America, but I've been through America enough where I'm like, the poor are very poor, right? Like, and it's like supposed to be the richest country in the world, but also I think it's part of that's why it's a capitalist system, right? It's like, we created this system so that whether you're poor, you can become rich. But also, there's a lot of poor people in America. Infrastructure is like not very good.
Yeah.
Outside of like the metros, like if you leave like New York, Phoenix, Miami, whatever, when you're like small town America, you're like, shit, like, I've seen better places in the fucking Philippines than I do in like parts of Phoenix, man. I'm like, yo, these places are very poor.
I honestly thought about that. I was like, there's some places in the quote unquote third world where it's better to be poor there than be poor in the States.
That's true.
Yeah.
Swear to,
Yeah.
because it's just an easier lifestyle. You know, like I'm not saying.
I think one example would be Botswana. For Botswana, it's actually pretty good.
Even China, you get a heart surgery in China, you're not going to die. People in the U.S., if you can't afford a surgery, you'll die.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
It's bad.
I didn't even know how bad. So one time I was in like Buffalo or something like that, and then I went to like an Applebee's, and I was talking to the server, and she's like around my age, and she was telling me basically like how she had to get like a root canal, and that shit bankrupt her.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, yeah. It's like she's like that's what this is like my third job right now. I have to work.
Man, that's so sad. Man.
Yeah.
So
have you guys seen that?
And also, that's the system you buy into, right? It's like
that's true.
It's the individualism and the personal accountability of America. Like, you know, you're in this position.
But a lot of people didn't have a choice to be born.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
That's one of the saddest things, right?
Your parents signed up for you. You're gonna sign up for America.
So that's an interesting debate in like immigration theory. Because no one decided genetically and geographically where they would be born in what circumstance, then there should be open borders. Like that's an interesting argument that's made in international relations, is that because it's actually random, the situation that you're born into, that therefore countries should promote open borders from freedom of movement. Because it's not my choice that I was born in Vancouver, right, in the 90s. Like, we could have easily been born in fucking Nigeria in like a Boko Haram run, like...
Boko Haram?
Crazy, really, like, fucked up slum, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could be one of the missing girls. So.
Oh my god,
yeah. Like just being born, like whatever passport you won at birth. Like I thought about that one time. I'm like,
we're
man,
so privileged.
No, we are. I know. I thought about this. Like, if I have kids, my kid automatically gets a Canadian passport, which is one of the best passports in the world to have. You can travel anywhere you want. You want to go to the U.S., you can probably work down there too if you want. You got the American accent if you want to work in the U.S. economy, which is like, I was looking at stuff on the internet recently about wages, because I was showing you guys recently about how like in Japan the wages were like so low. I thought people in Japan had money, and then they're saying like no, like the U.S. consistently has like like I think the highest wages in the entire world are actually Switzerland, but Switzerland's a small country, so you can sort of have that. But in the U.S., they consistently have the highest paying jobs in the entire world, hands down. They're just and maybe we're from Canada, and you know the cost of living here is so expensive, so maybe we take that for granted. Maybe sometimes I even ignore that fact, right? But like in Japan, they're doing a tour of this guy's house. So in Tokyo, you can rent maybe a 1-bedroom plus den. It's him and his girlfriend. They're paying about in Canadian dollars, it's about $1,000 Canadian. Look at with all your fees and everything in. I think it was like $750 USD plus fees come out to be about 1,000 Canadian. And then they're like, "What's your take home pay?" And he's just like, "My previous job, every month, I think it was like 1,800 US a month after tax, and then now his next job is $2,200 a month." And this guy's probably and he has a full-time job and everything like that. And I'm just like, are you new? Is this an internship? Because in Canada you can't survive on that. It's so expensive here.
Well,
right?
it's also because it's systemic, right? Japan of all countries is a country of microsystems. Everything affects everything, right? There's a reason why salaries you don't really get promotions or raises because everything's very flat. There's a reason why competitors like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King all has the same price. That's part of the system, right? They put in place a system of predictability and stability. In Canada, you can go from dollar store to luxury store to McDonald's, all different prices, right? You're not gonna have that in Japan. Everything's stable, everything's predictable. You go for a job, there's no going from 10K to 20K in Japan.
There's no 100 to 250K
Yeah, in
job.
Japan you go from 10K to 10.5. It's very stable because it also creates stability among the population. That people won't get wild. Whereas here you're going from Toronto to Montreal. It's completely different prices.
Big cap.
In Japan, you go from Tokyo to Osaka, anywhere else, same prices. It's flat across the board, right?
Yeah. So
Is that intentional by government?
It is intentional by design. Literally,
it's almost a nanny state, bro.
Yeah.
But in the video the guy was talking about, I was looking at this. I'm like, okay, well, if your rent is not supposed to be more than maybe a quarter. It's your rent, your housing is not supposed to cost more than a quarter of your pay.
Yeah,
so
that's 40%.
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to fully top out. 40% is egregious.
Well, I think it depends on Japan. Depends on
but I guess for in Canada. So when I saw this in Japan, I'm like, okay, so your rent's only you guys are your rent is I don't know, maybe a third of what it is in Canada, but you guys get your wages are lower, but you don't need to make as much. And they also have things like free healthcare and in Japan, I'm sure in Japan the job stability is something it's probably better than France. It's probably in Japan, they don't fire you. They just stick you in the basement for 15 years. You know about that?
of course, yeah.
There's documentaries about it. It's crazy. Because they can't fire you. They put you in the basement for 15 years to make you the
unions are very strong.
Yeah.
And then just knowing that, even if you don't like your job, you can stay there for 10 years and have stable pay. You could have 20K for the next 10 years. You can work your entire.
I had no idea.
You can work your entire life around that because it's also
I had no idea.
monthly payment. It's not bi-weekly, right?
Oh,
and so
okay.
it's prepaid. So you start the month, and you get your payment for the month.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not in arrears where you do your work,
Right, yeah.
and you get paid at the end. You know up ahead, okay, the first of the month, you're going to get 20,000 yen. Okay, well, I can budget literally day by day for the next 4 weeks. That's why,
I see, yeah.
And that's why it's a culture of, they promote this whole stability, and the way the country is harmonious. Is any sudden change, any disruption to life, that not only disrupts you, that disrupts the whole culture. Right?
Did you tell me there's some price law in Japan where you can't outbid, you can't underprice your competitors by more than 3%?
Yeah. So right now
which is great. And Americans are totally against it.
Americans super capitalist.
Liberty. Now you don't dropping oil prices. The price of gasoline came down so heavy. It's why we just undercut them and set we embargo these guys at this level and drop the price. I'm in Japan. Never let you do that, bro.
But that's actually interesting. 'Cause I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
because
that's
the more I think about it, because a lot of mainstream economic theory, I don't agree with this, but this is just what a lot of mainstream economic theories is, that typically you'll have a more efficient market when it's a free market.
Yeah.
But Japan's an interesting counterexample because you have incredible innovation.
Which makes
still
sense
happening.
because the law says
I didn't know that. I should have studied this.
Yeah, so the
I
law
didn't know
says something all competitors in a specific industry, so automotive,
Yeah.
price points can't vary by more than 2-3%.
I had no idea.
So if a car-
no idea. That's very interesting. Yeah.
It's being produced for $10,000, the market rate for that car is 22.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It can't be any more than that. It can't be more than 25, 30. Because why would it? Because literally, if you actually think about it, from top to bottom, well, the workers are paid well. If they're all in the same type of industry, there should be market competitive rates, right? And so if they're all in the car industry and you all make whatever 15K as salaried workers, why would the actual car be more? It wouldn't make sense. You all use the same materials, you're all in the same factory, the same community in Japan. there's no reason for the price to actually be more.
The
only reason why it would be more is it would be greed.
See,
And greed disrupts the whole country, right?
So
it's not harmonious.
Does this push out a bunch of like overly ambitious people then? Like they have to leave the country?
But no,
Yeah,
that's,
it actually does.
that's the interesting thing about Japan. Japan still has incredible innovation.
Yeah.
Like along many lines, like scientific, technological, even entertainment. You know what the youngest billionaire is today? I think he's only like 24 years old.
That's crazy.
He's a Japanese dude.
Japanese guy.
He's a Japanese dude who's making like Japanese YouTube kind of equivalent, social media. Yo, isn't that crazy? So there's still tons of like business and shit happening.
Instead of there being entrepreneurship,
This is crazy.
it's intrapreneurship.
Yeah,
right? There's like internal teams that are devoted, literally like. It's funny because I'm in the research and design space, and when I hear about a team here that say, oh, they have like an internal, research process or like internal user testing process, I'm like, no, man. Japan actually has internal research teams that like will like here we have like engineers, marketers, and like maybe a couple of like executive suites, right? In Japan, it's like the CEO and then a team of researchers because it's all entrepreneurship. It's like how can we improve the product internally before we go out, and there's enough autonomy for the team to actually go and build and improve on things. This is why companies like Nintendo have been around for like literally like 150 years, right?
Yeah.
Like there's that culture of entrepreneurship. It's like we're treating you as a family. We want to promote these values of like
There's a double-edged sword in that, because the loyalty. But I hear what you're saying.
Loyalty, but
when
also,
it works extremely well.
Yeah.
It works so well.
But on the other hand, it's like the bad part is like, well, that means there's monopolies. That means there's not enough entrepreneurship. That means small businesses are not actually being started, right? Because it's like, well, it starts from the top. It's like, well, why would you go out and start a business in Japan when you could actually just go and have a stable company life in a company, right? So it is double-sided where they're like, fuck, we don't want entrepreneurs, and our best entrepreneurs are actually leaving, right? Like, the best companies coming out of Japan right now are like Uniqlo, right?
Yeah. So it's like I feel is there like a lot of like demand for fantasies, or like do you feel like because everything is so predictable that like there's almost like the opposite, like the taboo thing would be like,
So
there's definitely demand for fantasy in Japan. There's definitely demand. Have you seen their porn? Have you seen hentai? Have you seen octopus
I'm
porn?
so
bro?
happy you brought that up. That's exactly why I was thinking about
They're
that.
very creative out there.
I've never seen such fucked up porn in my life.
They're very creative. They're very good illustrators.
Allegedly.
They put their talents to some dirty ass
which
work,
is,
bro.
well, it's funny because porn's actually prohibited,
What?
right? Porn in Japan and India are prohibited.
Yeah.
It's technically
I
illegal.
actually didn't know that.
It's actually illegal, but
but
that's also why there's pixelation of the genitals, right? Because it's offensive, and this you don't want to potentially know who you actually.
But what about on women though? Isn't that just on male genitalia?
No. They censor the pussy.
Yeah, they do. They do
Oh,
pixelate.
Okay, alright. Okay,
They don't.
alright.
They don't pixelate the tits.
But not the tits.
They pixelate the pussy because like you look at the pussy like
It's like
I don't know who that is. I'm gonna look away.
It's like U.S. strip club laws. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the tops are like you can get, but the bottoms must be on. So. Yeah, they pixelate that. It's pretty hilarious.
It's funny. It's kind of like treat like, oh, I'm like a porn star, but I'm saving my honor.
Yeah.
So being conservative, just by pixelating it.
I know it's so
true.
As 20 guys just inside you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as India. You can go to jail for looking at porn. It's still illegal. Yet the number one country for Indian porn is India.
Yeah.
I've never seen Indian porn. I never knew there's an Indian. Not like I don't like search for it. I'm just saying. I didn't. There's a thriving Japanese porn market. Where's the Indian porn market? You know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm just. It's like
man, that would be maybe grounds for jail time, man. That sounds.
For real?
Sketchy. It sounds really sketchy
that
to
makes
me.
sense, yo.
Well, of course it makes sense.
Because it's funny, like basically every single Bollywood movie I've seen has to do with a love story. So I think, and they have the Karma Sutra. So I feel like if they had a porn industry, that should be balling. You know what I mean? It'd be like crazy. They probably have the best porn in like the history of porn.
But I think in Japan, it's a career.
India. Like, why is there not like an Indian porn industry? India.
Well, because
religion. It's religion,
it's
man.
conservative culture.
Is it?
Conservative. Yeah, they have 1 billion
Do you
people.
not know about India? Man, of course India's conservative.
They made the Kama Sutra.
No, but that's so long ago, man. Come on.
it's so fucking now.
We're talking about modern India.
Modern India is not conservative.
Dude,
man.
it's super conservative. What are you talking
Indians
about, man?
fuck. What are you talking about?
I know
Of course they fuck.
That's why there's a billion of
That's
them.
why there's a billion.
Exactly.
I'm not denying it, but that doesn't mean they're this doesn't mean having sex for population purposes versus sex for the pleasure of the Kama Sutra. That's old.
Okay. So here's my debate to that. There's Chinese porn.
Not much. Well, there is. Don't get me wrong, there is. But but they're conservative in a different way where it would allow for that. In India, it's like India, they could kill you for that.
You literally,
They literally could kill you for that. You have to understand, like India's.
But they're mad. I know.
India's a wild place.
The
It's a wild
horniest
place.
dudes I know are Indian guys, though. That's why I'm confused. You know, I don't
The
get it.
normiest dudes.
No, the horniest guys I know are
The
Indian
horniest
guys.
guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you
100%.
ever go on YouTube and the first comments is like fucking Indian comment box, man? love you so much. Fuck you. Whatever. You're watching some real estate video and then some fucking Jess from India is like, I love you, mommy.
Yeah. Or when I went to Brass Rail, fucking half of them were Indian dudes. Developer dudes.
That makes
the
sense,
fucking
yo.
polo shirt or whatever, right? Going in there like super skinny, coming in.
The demographic of Brass Rails, bro. Jesus
that's pretty
Christ.
funny,
Yeah.
man.
Oh my God.
Well,
Yeah.
that's funny because me and my wife went to Thailand and
Yeah.
we went to I don't know, I forgot what the place, but you know they had this ping pong show, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we went in just for the sake of experience because we've never done it before and just for for fun.
Nasty, bro.
And we went in,
Nasty
and
show.
yeah, half of the folks in there are Indians too.
Fuck, what,
Like,
man?
and what's funny because each performer does like exotic trick, and every time they're done, they ask for tips.
Yeah.
And my wife and I are just very like giving because again, these are women that try and work their best to make money. But those India guys, when every time they ask money, it was like they're very tight.
That's
They're like,
Oh,
and it's like, and they're just like watching, and then that's it. And every time they ask, it's like, I think halfway of the show they just left because they just can't stand it.
yeah.
Girls asking for the tips
man.
and stuff. Yeah.
But back to the point, I'm really surprised because there's a huge demand for Indian porn and there's no supply. I'm very confused. That makes me think maybe an exotic, like a foreign Indian porn market. You know?
That's why Mia Khalifa was huge, bro. She's Lebanese, but like she looks like I guess like brown enough, and that's why Mia Khalifa's number one, bro.
But you can't let okay. Here's the thing, like you can't let Indian people like do any porn that's
dude, Sunny Leone. Sunny Leone
Yeah.
is like the biggest
But it has to be an Indian.
porn to each.
It has to be.
She's like an Indian
The
national.
producer has to be an Indian, because otherwise it's mad offensive. It's a white guy trying to do Indian porn,
Dude,
bro. That's just
Sunny
mad
is
offensive,
she's
bro.
huge in India right now. She's like the equivalent of Kim Kardashian.
You
I
know
know,
what?
yeah,
Can
yeah.
can you film porn in India legally? Is the question. In America, you can.
No, that's
Yeah.
not.
In America, you can legally film porn without a permit in America.
I'm just
No,
saying,
it's illegal still.
Yeah, that's why. So it's like they can't
What do you
legally.
mean it's slightly legal?
It's
like-
still
You
illegal.
can't legally film porn in the country.
India, it's extremely
Yeah.
illegal.
No,
That's why you
so-
still
so
can't.
it's like-
You can only access
it's
Pornhub in India with a VPN.
Why
committing a
doesn't
crime.
some avid porn producer come to LA and start making Indian porn?
They do that.
They do.
They do that.
But how come I'm trying? I don't see like you go to Pornhub.
Because
not
it's religion, dude.
India's not a section. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm confused.
There's a section for like brown girls and Indian South Asian.
Is there?
Dude, go check Pornhub. It's like
Dude,
they have every section and every ethnicity.
Eric is on top.
Fucking
of it.
expert guys. Fucking porn doesn't pay me, bro.
I don't even know that.
Even in Hollywood, there's this whole like movement now to actually allow people to kiss on screens. It's still like it's still ultra conservative.
In Bollywood?
Yeah, like
Nah, fam, they've been kissing, bro.
it's the only the past couple years, man. There's a huge push.
Nah.
Actually, come to think of it, I've
No,
actually never seen
no. I grew up in Kenya, bro, so there's actually a huge Indian influence there.
No,
all the Bollywood movies are love stories. They all like
They love
the
stuff,
kid-
but they're not
the kid-
kissing on screen, man.
No, but it's not like the
That's
kid.
actually a
They,
good
they, no,
it's
they,
only the past couple years
You know
there's
what?
been a movement to
That's what
allow
I
it.
think of. I think my memory was playing tricks on me. I think you're right.
Yeah.
For real?
And it'll be
Yeah.
cut off right before they kiss,
Yo.
or just like
It's like
side.
implied.
It's
It's
implied.
Right.
Which also
Oh.
the thing is that's blasphemous. If you show them kissing on screen, it's like, well, what does that encourage?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
populace to also do that, right?
Yo, there's like billions of them. Obviously, they're fuck. What do you mean? Like, yo, what do you?
Well, hold on, but
Do they think they do mitosis? Like, what the fuck?
It
Yo,
could be a memory illusion.
No. But
It could
okay.
be. Now that I think about it,
My confusion here is
because
that
I've seen a lot preparing for Tamil stuff,
Yeah.
and like I just had to watch this, and now that I think about like,
Hey, give me my
you're
right here.
right.
Okay, but my confusion here
It's
is
tripping me out. I think you're right.
But why is it like so? I don't understand. Like,
It's because you have to
Modesty
remember
laws.
how conservative
Decency
it is.
laws.
Yo.
It's very conservative.
But they're not just like copy and pasting each other. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like there's a billion of them in the country. They're obviously somehow.
No, but how's that correlated? Indonesia is also very conservative. They have tons of people. There's no correlation between the population growth and pornography. Look at Chad. The birth rate of the fucking average birth rate is like 6 people per month. It's fucking insane in chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
the chat board just sounds hilarious.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But there's no relationship to chat. They're not making chatting
They're fucking out there.
Right? They're just fucking.
They're
You know?
fucking.
You know, countries are more conservative than you think, man. Even countries like Japan,
Yeah.
you never see French kissing on screen. You see pecking. Even
Yeah.
up until
Yeah.
2015,
Yeah.
where like media
Yeah.
laws started changing.
Yeah.
In Japan, they're allowing people to be like hold hands on screen now, and like do a little bit more kissing on Japanese like dramas and like movies, but like it's still highly frowned upon because like a lot of these countries like they don't want to. They say they don't want Western values infiltrating them, but also obviously they kind of do because like they're consuming Western media, and now they're opening up where like just last year Japanese media laws finally allowed media personalities, anyone working in like basically influencers, rock stars, musicians, whatever, to have actual media accounts. Before you couldn't have like Instagram accounts, you couldn't have Twitter accounts. It was run through the company, so it was technically created, but it was not officially yours. So it always has to go through a middleman. There's always agents.
Okay.
Oh, it's an agency.
So like there'd be like
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
But now this year
Yeah.
you see an explosion. That's why you see so many Japanese artists and like creators and like musicians on like TikTok, Instagram,
Independent.
and Twitter now because now the agencies are saying, okay, fine, we're not going to manage your accounts anymore, so you can go and create your own shit. Like it took like they also were under fire a lot from like K-pop and like Korean exported culture to be like, yo, fuck, like we're losing a lot of cultural power here, so we should probably let our citizens like public profiles have more of a public face like that they actually own.
Yeah, doesn't K-pop substantially like generate like a huge part of their GDP?
Oh yeah,
For Korea, yeah.
Yeah, the Korean government.
It's like U.S. level exports. One of the biggest industries in the U.S. is entertainment, and Korea, South Korea has definitely gone on the level.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Gangnam dude?
Yeah, what Gangnam Style?
Yeah, Gangnam Style. What happened to him?
Psy.
Yeah.
He I think he went to I think he's still making music. I think he's back.
He's been trying to get that next viral thing, but it's not getting any.
Yeah, you might one hit wonder that, and but he made such a killing off that he's probably good for a little.
Dude, it's crazy because like Korea's like cultural department is like one of the biggest in the world. Because like I think it's something like they spend like fucking a shit ton of money preparing their talent to go out into the world. So not just like actual musicians, but like producing or like exporting things like Samsung, right? LG. Like they realize that like yo shit like people kind of like our stuff, so we're gonna pump more money into this. From like 2015 onwards.
Yo, South Korea is so good at media. North Korea is the most popular impoverished state in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh god, North Korea is a messed up place, bro.
Yo, but
Oh
they're the most popular like
North Korea is a messed up place. Yo, dude, the South Korean pop star system is really crazy. So it really goes to show like sort of like I don't know like American libertarianism versus like South Korean Confucianism. So in America, if you want to be an artist, you want to be a rapper these days, your friend's fucking selling bricks of cocaine and crack out of the trap house, you raise up like 50 grand, you go buy your studio time. It costs about, apparently to launch an artist with radio play, it costs about $250,000. So you need to have that in cash somehow, pay all your producers and pay everyone in cash, and then maybe you can be an artist like Future and then go on tour and make all your money back. In Korea, what they do is that they, and then like let the cream rise to the top, and anyone who can't survive that really ghetto ratchet process is not going to make it, right? In Korea, what they do is that they pick you from the age of 12, they put you into a school, it's based on looks, and then they just, it's almost like school, they just train you. So we'll give you dancing lessons, we'll give you language lessons, we'll give you some plastic surgery, we'll teach you to rap, we'll make you to sing, and that's why you get groups like Blackpink, where it's like, Lisa can't actually sing, she can rap, but she's actually the strongest singer, because they scouted her in Thailand, because they couldn't even get enough people, South Korea's such a small country, they couldn't even get enough talent within their own countries, anybody from other countries, although America is like full of immigrations. And then like Jisoo's a local Korean girl, she can't speak English, and she can sing and dance adequately. And then like what's her fucking name? And then Jenny's probably the best looking one, and she can kind of sing and dance. And then the best singer is actually what the fuck is her name? The fourth girl. So she's probably the strongest singer out of all of them. Yeah. But like, so what you're doing? So in America, what we do is that we find inherently talented people like Ariana Grande. We run them through the Disney Channel, and then they have like an outburst where they break off their shackles of being a Disney kid star, and then become a highly sexualized person, and have Illuminati videos made of them. But she's already inherently talented. Like Chris Brown was discovered at a gas station. They're already inherently talented. Wow. So what they do in Korea is that
they do the opposite.
So in Korea, what they do is they try to find candidates and they try to train them into being talented. What we do in the U.S. is that it's just a free for all. So it's like Chris Brown, dude. He had no training. He had no training, no vocal training, no singing training. He was just ready to go. at the gas station, like freestyling.
It's actually sick.
Like 15 years old, signed him, and that was one of the biggest artists. So the Korean one that's what a lot of the Korean stars when they hit the highest level. It feels very artificial, and like even like the Backstreet Boys, they're manufactured.
A friend of mine got recruited for an esports gaming house in 2017.
Oh, that'll do it.
And he said it was like the hardest time of his life, man. Like
peak performance.
he fucking
For a Korean company? Oh, really?
I think it's probably like 60 hours.
So
Korean jail.
he specialized in like Counter-Strike Go.
Okay.
And like he basically said,
how much Go was he playing every day?
dude, like he said,
painful amount.
He said his day started at 7 a.m.
Wow.
and it went till 7 p.m.
Okay.
So like
wow.
he'd be like side by side with like 6 of his other teammates in a fucking house in Korea, and like there were people literally there on call just like waiting to feed them. Like we had coaches there, like fucking training them and shit like that. And he did that for like 4 months.
Yeah.
He said by he said by the end of it, he thought he had like arthritis because like
because
he was training like every day.
Your back's fucked, your hands are fucked.
So you're eating chopsticks.
What's wrong with you, bro?
That's wild, man.
For a gamer, that could be like a dream come true.
Okay, so I worked with a team that was playing. Okay, so these guys were in Europe, so they had like some European working conditions. It was still 7 days a week. Okay, so a bunch of European guys from Eastern Europe can't speak English well. A bunch of Korean guys, so they have a Korean/English tutor. And so every day we have 1 hour of like language lessons. And the first 3 months, no one could speak English properly. Or the Eastern European guys, English was okay. Korean guys, English was like not great. So people, if your English is already good, you can learn Korean instead. So one of my friends was actually learning Korean when he was there. And then they have a private chef. They cook your dinner. They cook your dinner every day. Breakfast is a free for all, and then lunch is a free for all. You can get takeout or get some of your own shit. And then every Saturday and Sunday you have to scrim at the esports tournament center. And then so what you get up in the morning. A lot of guys get up in the morning. You have a meeting in the morning, training, and then usually people have lunch, and then you're training another 6-hour block, and then you have dinner, and then at night you're doing your own personal shit, which is typically training, working on your own personal deficiencies, getting your English class in. You do that 5 days a week, and then they pay you maybe like 110,000 euros a year to do it. It was about 7 to 8 people doing it, and then you're competing on a team of 5, so you have a couple of subs. So like I saw guys do it, and these kids were young, and the coaches are pretty nice. They're just like the coaches are probably in their late 20s, and they're just like, we know you kids are going to graduate after, and probably go to university. So we're if we can like help you guys facilitate that, because we don't just want to have you guys play esports here for 2 years, get out, you got no skills. You're unemployed because they're not.
Oh man, that's not a good state.
Where was this like 10 years ago when we're playing? I think we built this thing up for them, for the future kids. We're like,
man, you know what's funny? Like, that's actually what happened. I was talking to. There was like when this guy who was a portfolio manager, and he was saying that his son. He was talking to his son about like so this company so this is doing EGLX capital raise, right? EGLX essentially is like an e-gaming company. They're able to go public. During this whole process, this one portfolio manager was talking to his son before pulling the trigger on investment, and he was like, I'm not sure if this really makes any sense, right? And him and his son were going to go to like a Cleveland Browns game, right? And he's like, Dad, you and I are gonna go, because basically he was saying I don't understand how these guys are gonna make money off of people watching other people play a game, right? Then he's like, Dad, you and I right now are flying from like Toronto to go watch a group of people play football. You know, then it clicked for him. It was like, oh shit, yeah, actually that makes sense. It's basically like what the consumer wants.
yeah.
So yeah, it took a while to obviously get there. And I also think a huge part of it though is like Gen Zs and like the whole like lower part of the millennial generation creating the market. So probably around 2010 the market wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
If you think about where tech has been the past 15 years, it's like, fuck, if you told me
fast.
that like jobs like 3D animation or social media marketing, whatever, would be like full on lucrative careers.
An actual job.
I'd be like, no way, bro. Like when I was graduating, all I wanted to do was make some like shitty websites and like I don't know, maybe play Photoshop. That's only like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And now people are like making money off like selling stuff on TikTok, right? Or they're like they have a Patreon set up. Like like you can't predict these things. Even if you have like an inkling, it's like you don't know actually the extent of how far it can actually go, right? Because actually, especially with technology compounds, like you're enabled now, like.
Yo, but Google sniped that out by buying YouTube. Yo, they sniped that out in like mid 2000s. That was one of the best plays I've seen in tech space. Like,
do you think that's probably like one of the most, if not the most impactful?
Do you know what the second
technology of the last?
Do you know what the second?
Yeah,
do you know what the second largest search engine in the world is?
I thought
YouTube.
What?
It might have recently changed. It might have recently changed to TikTok, but
TikTok, yeah.
it might have very.
Is it Baidu in
It
China?
might have very recently changed to TikTok, but yeah,
Is it Baidu in
it was
China?
YouTube before. It was
It
YouTube.
was YouTube before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yo,
TikTok search is coming up really, really quickly now. I think they were like the #1 most used search engine last month or something.
I still don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
Yo, I was on today. Yo, honestly, that's one of the reasons why like I SEO a lot of our conversations because people look things up. You know, people look.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, if we're on a topic, like Grindr versus Tinder, I SEO that. I SEO that shit. Like, if someone's actually looking at Grindr versus Tinder, we probably have like a decent like explanation of like the differences between the two. You know what I'm saying? That's SEO forever.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Should I start a TikTok account for this and actually start posting shit? Because on
No,
TikTok.
I don't want to be on TikTok.
No. You know what? No. As long as it's cool if he does it, because as long I just don't. From what I've seen, like YouTube's primarily male usage.
No, that's 100%. It is. And then Instagram has more females.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think if
It's just guys are fucking on there watching games.
honestly,
shit, like-
and if I'm being assumptive here, I also think it's because maybe, and I don't know if this is the truth per se, but like, I don't know if like guys. I think guys are more willing to like view long form stuff.
No, that's not true. Literally, if you look at like the biggest accounts on YouTube, like Get Ready With Me, makeup tutorials, like lifestyle vlogs, fashion, it's all
true.
females.
Makeup
So some like I didn't even know some of these females had like 100 million subscribers. I'm like, I've never heard of you. I get all the girls out there like, you don't follow like you know.
I get that.
I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I get that, but I'm saying look at the other like the Jake Tran account or like any of the other ones that are explaining things.
No, that's not long term. That's not long term at all.
No, dude, Jake Trans, this shit's like, well, no, Jake Transman's videos are pretty long, like 20, 30 minutes.
No,
That's short, dude. Have you seen it? Oh my god.
No, you're talking like a 2-hour like
And what I'm saying,
when you consider long form, dude, 30 minutes to me, that's pretty long.
And when you look at a lot of these female accounts, like they're like 30, 40, like consistently. Like
Joe long form is 1 hour. Like Joe Rogan, 1 hour minimum, and then up to 3. That's like, no, because I don't want to 30 minutes short form, but it's not. Short form's like 15 seconds.
And I think what I'm saying here is like, okay, makeup tutorial is one thing, but I don't think you're actually like, you're not really like, you're performing tasks in a makeup. It's almost like a workout routine. Like they tell like you're. It's not,
the way they're set up, man, they're more like vlogs. Like,
so
it's like the way they're like vlogs.
You're talking makeup tutorial. How to do your makeup?
Not even the makeup.
Or get ready with it.
Yeah, get ready with it.
That's a vlog. It's like I'm getting in the morning.
That's a vlog.
Hey guys, here's me drinking my fucking coffee and like, man, there's some you know, I watched it on TikTok recently.
So what I'm saying here, and like I'm trying to like fucking skirt around the thing. I think for some reason or another, dudes are more willing to consume information.
No, I don't think that's right. Do you have actual data on this? I don't.
I don't think it is.
Without data, I don't believe this.
No. We do have data that 80% of dudes on YouTube are male. That's we have data. We have data on that. But the second reason is why. So that's sort of like.
But he's asking something else. He's talking about a gender norm specific respect to.
Odie has a hypothesis on why.
Yo, somebody pull it up. What's the actual breakdown right now? I don't think it's 80-20. I would say maybe like
I'm curious.
60-40. I'm curious.
I'm curious too.
I've had multiple people tell me it's 80% guy, and then Instagram is like 60% women or something like that.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Percentage of gender on YouTube. This is a good podcast so far. This is actually, you know what's good about this podcast? I think I have more experience doing it. So
whoa, it's way lower than what you thought, man. 53%.
That's why I fucking.
53.9%.
Hold on.
That's a credible source. That's a credible source. Statistics a credible source.
Oh, I got lied to then. I'm wrong. I stand corrected.
That's almost That's almost parity.
There's a lot of.
I think you're fucking right.
Female accounts on YouTube now.
80% seemed high to me, but the person who said to me they're not a credible source. So I got lied. I got fucking lied to you. I got lied to you, bro. I got lied to you, bro.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, okay. Gender balance.
Seems kind of high though, like 80%, pretty high.
But there's been like a
I'm okay now.
long form.
This is
Hold on.
No, it's not.
I want to get
this is a health
multiple
beat
data.
Oh, okay, fuck yeah.
Just try this health beat chat and change your life.
Oh, dude, that's okay.
Exactly.
These are actually life changing.
My
My life is changing.
They're healthy.
My life is better.
Yeah, I have some fucking like Frito. The Frito-Lays are fucking horrible for you. Fucking all sorts of bad shit. But this is like it's essentially like a healthier tortilla chip with beets in it. So you get some vitamin K.
But to go back though, it's actually incredible. Like the ecosystem YouTube enabled. I'm like, holy fuck! You have like people making full-on multi-million-dollar businesses off of YouTube who've created like careers, who created literally empire. I'm like,
yeah, man.
And this thing started 2006.
2006.
2007, was it?
Dude, like,
2006.
Yeah.
Tutorials, get ready to me vlogs,
Yeah.
like you know.
I think one of the best things about YouTube is education.
Education.
Yeah,
100%,
that's
man.
everything.
Holy fuck,
That's
Well, no,
dude,
it's-
yeah.
no,
There's
it's-
so many
I went to animation school on YouTube. Without YouTube, I would not have a fucking
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I legitimately
Yeah.
trained myself. I'm still learning. Dude, the plugins I do, when you buy the plugin for like $500, they're like, oh, and these Wallen Hazel plugin, our free trainings on our YouTube channel. You go on there for YouTube, they're giving you like honestly, the training is so fucking good and it's free, and they're just hosting. They can host it on Vimeo and shit like that. But the fact you can go on there, people are commenting, you're like, I'm stuck on this part. There's a community around it.
It's a
So how do you guys think then, like, colleges survive? How do you think?
Well,
how do you
you
think
become a dentist. You're not become a dentist on YouTube.
how do universities survive?
Because credentials.
Credentialism.
Having credentials of expert.
And also
People will still
standardization as well.
standardization.
More people care about credentials.
That's a good question. with
That's a
Gen
good
Z.
question.
It
I don't
depends.
think
It
Gen
depends.
Z's-
It depends where you work.
It depends on the job.
It depends on the job. It depends. Like,
For
you know-
example, surgeon, yeah, they'll
Yeah.
always be fucking credentials.
And they should.
And there should be.
Yeah, no, but
Very
no,
precise.
apparently Google. No, I think.
Imagine you're a surgeon and you got your fucking credentials on YouTube.
I'm dead. I'm fucked. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die on the fucking table.
Oh my god.
No, but apparently Google doesn't care anymore. Apparently Google, like when you're applying for certain types of jobs, like as long as you've like done something, they don't get. Tech is a lot more flexible. As tech.
The tech is really flexible.
No, tech's flexible because the history of tech, dude. Back when they're inventing computer science, they were hiring math majors and physics people because computer
Correct.
science didn't exist yet.
Correct.
So it's always innovating, and it's kind of just like what's in there? There's many examples of this throughout science, like throughout like life, where it's like we didn't have this form of science yet. You know, back in the 1920s when they were inventing surgery, they were getting veterinarians and shit.
They weren't inventing surgery.
No.
No.
Yeah.
They have had surgery forever.
Well, no, but like let's say modern surgery. They do like washing your hands.
Washing your hands
like,
is 1860s.
yeah, like modern surgery, like washing your fucking hands.
That's right.
Not giving everyone fucking like herpes and shit. Jerking off in the bathroom. Do some surgery on this dude. Not wash my hands, jerk off again. Next dude. Everyone herpes in your fucking stomach, bro. You all woke up. I did surgery on a virgin today, and now she got herpes, bro. Oh fuck, I mean cancer for saying this shit. It's crazy.
Well,
I mean cancer for saying that, bro.
no.
Did you also know that if you get shot and like you don't want to get caught, you go to a vet, not the doctor?
You know what? Dude, okay,
I never heard of that.
If I work for a mafia, at least one dude in the cartel or whatever, I'm like at least one dude here.
Has to be a doctor.
No, if I ex-military and you're a medic and you're like a combat medic, and we'll pay you like some crazy amount. I need you to like take this bullet out of me.
Everyone should do a CPR course.
I'm gonna be our cars.
Everyone should do a CPR
No,
course.
I'm gonna one-up you.
Removing bullets course.
I'm gonna one up you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm signed up for Canadian Reserve.
No, they'll probably trying to take bullets out.
No, dude, I'm looking forward to just the training. I just want to do it for the training.
Or are you gonna get into military?
Not as a full-time job, just part. Just
Okay.
reserves.
Reserves.
So it's only 1 weekday night per week, and then 1 weekend per month.
Yeah,
One
my
weekend
country's doing that right now. Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
So it's just like 3 hours on a Monday or something.
It's funny. Maybe I can do that for fun. Just for
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, my
Like,
country's doing that for fun. Yeah.
I mean, you get paid a couple bucks,
Yeah.
but you will learn a lot of practical skills.
Or just like
it's super practical.
practical training, or even like health, nutrition,
Oh,
how to like
exactly.
you know.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking, why not? I think, why not? I can afford it.
So you went to the website RC?
I already have my fitness test on February 6th.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Applying for the reserves is really complicated. It's complicated in terms of how long it takes. Dude, it took me 2.5 hours to fill out the form.
Yeah, man.
Because you have to put in all of your travel history.
Yeah.
That's the sketchy thing.
Yeah.
They want all the travel history for the past 10 years. I don't know how they're gonna check it, but like I just don't wanna fuck around.
They check, man. My
What
friend,
What
my
for?
friend tried to like
Oh yeah.
apply.
Oh, really?
He tried to apply,
Yeah.
and like they found out that his uncle, and his uncle's been here for like 30 years. His uncle, in like the first year that he arrived in Canada, had like a misdemeanor or something.
Oh wow.
And so they
knew that.
had to deny him because they said we don't know, right? Like,
Oh,
your
wow.
uncle, like even though your uncle,
I believe
you know,
it. Wow. Okay,
like,
so they're really vetting this.
So
shit
they want to
closely.
make sure, like,
Yeah,
well,
no, I respect that.
they
I
want to
respect
make sure,
that.
like, well, if you get in trouble, if your uncle gets in trouble, are you going to choose your uncle or the country? Right? And so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want to make sure everyone in your family's clean.
No,
Right? So
that
if
makes
you're not
sense,
clean, you want to like, get it expunged, whatever. Like they want to make sure. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be like them or country, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I'm not gonna bother.
And I think that's
Yeah.
the reason why when I arrive here I want to get into the military, but they only
Okay.
accept Canadians. Even if you have the.
Oh, are you not a
permanent
Canadian
card.
citizen?
No, I am.
Oh, you
But that
are.
was like 10 years ago when I was like,
Okay, yeah.
I want to get into military because I like it. It's cool. You know, when you're young. Yeah.
well, honestly, even just for the future.
Yeah, our friend Kimmel's gonna jump on camera with us.
Even just for the future, like for example, like my cousin now, he's been there for like 10 years, and just for potentially future education, like help from support from the government, like it's worth it if you actually have the time and you actually want to learn because, man,
You know what I
Go
actually
to college for free. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You know, in America, it's a big thing.
You know what I actually applied to a lot? CSIS.
Oh, but you applied.
Yo,
but you were
CSIS
not
after this
accepted.
podcast, man. CSIS, man. I'm sorry.
Dude,
after this podcast, you're
I
never
thought
gonna
about-
fucking CSIS, bro.
I
You're
thought
never gonna
about
fucking hire you,
I thought
bro.
about applying to
We're
CSIS.
bombed on podcasts, bro.
But you know,
Talking about
CSIS,
giving herpes. We're never gonna see
It's depending on what job. What job did you apply
They
for?
saw my application. They're like, yo, yo guys, fucking OT. This fucking guy thinks he's gonna get a job.
That's CSIS,
Well, what was
bro.
the position you were applying for?
Yo, there was a couple. I can't even really remember now, but I applied multiple times. Just for a couple. I think it was like analysts.
I'm surprised. Why did you want to work for CSIS?
I'd love to be a spook.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want me to spook?
Yeah.
Isn't the term spook racist? My black people.
No, that's not the sense. No, it's another slang term for spy.
Like intelligence
CSIS?
agency.
Yeah.
CSIS is the Canadian
Canadian security.
CIA.
Yeah, Canadian security intelligence.
You know what?
Services.
The way I look
They
at
actually
it.
dissolved the distinction between FBI and CIA because in the US, FBI is domestic, CIA is foreign,
Oh.
Yeah.
and CSIS is actually both.
Wow.
It's actually both. Yeah. So there's actually
That's
they dissolved the
interesting.
distinction
This
between
is
the two.
hilarious.
So did you know one of the reasons 9/11 happened was because FBI and CIA could not communicate. They could not legally share information because they're distinct organizations.
Yeah.
So that's actually one of the reasons that they found out after through 9/11 Commission report and interviewing lots of people that was one of the main issues. They knew so FBI thought there was going to be a domestic terrorist threat. CIA thought there was going to be a foreign one. They didn't know that there could be a hybrid of kind of both aspects. Because if you think about 9/11, you have Saudi nationals, you have a fucking German engineering students, you have like a bunch of other people, and then you have a mix of like, so mostly Saudi nationals getting on planes, but they got on the planes in the US, but they're foreigners. So it's like it blurs the boundaries, and so it made it difficult to share intelligence.
Right.
What about-
But CSIS would not encounter this issue.
What about-
CSIS would be able to share all the information within its organization.
I totally agree on
Yeah.
one level, but I also like we're gonna get into 9/11. This is a spicy one here.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm ready for this.
I
You
think
got
those multiple reports there's like the State Department got a report,
Yeah.
CIA had a report, FBI had a report,
Yeah.
multiple the military like Navy had a report, multiple agencies knew that this was gonna happen.
Yeah. They knew that a threat, the serious threat would happen.
And then wasn't there
There was
some,
evidence of that.
I'm gonna paraphrase, I'm gonna get it wrong, but like when 9/11 happened, all the planes in like North America got grounded.
Yes.
Except for ones, there was a couple of flights that were allowed to leave that had Saudi nationals and officials.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Exactly.
interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it.
They were,
No,
the
I
only,
believe
they
it.
were the only ones that were allowed to
Wow.
leave. They were the only ones.
Wow, man. Okay, I didn't know that. That's suspicious. Yeah.
9/11 sketchy as fuck.
Just the way, the building gets demolished, right?
Or let's even talk about the most sketchiest part of 9/11. Outside of obviously the towers, the one that hit the Pentagon, the one that hit the Pentagon.
Yeah, the other landed in
But
Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
with no evidence, of like, it didn't. So the one that hit the Pentagon, they have one camera angle of the plane hitting the Pentagon, and it doesn't look like a plane hitting the Pentagon. Like I don't know if you can reference the video yourself.
Okay, all
Are
right.
you talking about like a
Okay,
There was no
9/11 denial?
there was not enough.
9/11
My friend
Go ahead.
Camille says he's gonna come on. He's gonna talk about like the.
They got. There could have been various reasons as to why, but they also got rid of like all plane evidence of the crash like as soon as possible in the Pentagon. And then there was the one that like
Shanksville.
Yeah, that one.
It's a random fucking plane landing.
So there's actually questions about like
because I think in that one, the passengers actually overtook the terrorists.
Yo, but
I believe so. Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
but they all died together.
The conspiracy,
I think it's
the
correct.
conspiracy theory is they got shot down.
No, I don't think so.
They got shot down.
I don't-
That was a conspiracy theory.
No,
They got shot down. No, that's the theory. That's why it's like the conspiracy theory. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I hear
is
you.
that it got shot down because they had
I know.
they had jets in the air, and that was the one that was supposed to hit the White House.
Oh man, yeah, man. What a crazy day, eh? Holy fuck, man. That changed everything. Airports. Do you guys remember airports before 2001?
I remember. No. Do you
way
remember,
fast.
Do you remember 9/11
fast.
though? Do you remember?
Yeah,
that?
I remember. Like, I'll tell you about 9/11.
I remember.
My dad was watching TV.
Yeah.
It was like fucking 8:30 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
He was like, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Yo, guys, come in the bedroom. Come in the bedroom. We all come in." Like, guys, fucking terrorist attack on TV, guys. It was crazy. Like,
Yes.
I was like, I couldn't even process. I was so young, right?
I
was
just
fucking 9 years old. But then we went to
Yeah.
school, and then the teachers explained,
Yeah.
there was a planes crash in the Twin Towers, and like, we were so young. We're like, what the fuck? We don't know what makes sense.
Yeah, I want to go back
We're
to
like,
like Power Rangers, bro.
Yeah, I was about Power Rangers shit, right?
Dude,
But like, only now do I see like the
Dude.
significance, man.
Oh my god, dude! Someone was running porn on my live stream.
Okay, dude, that's fucked up,
Oh my
man.
God,
Dude,
who's
man,
doing
people keep
this?
fucking with your account, man.
No, this
Dude,
was
people
this,
keep fucking with
this
your
person's gonna get
dude.
banned.
Dude,
We're
that's
gonna get
fucked
banned.
up,
Let me see.
man.
Let me see. Is
No.
Yo, we're still filming this.
It's all
shit,
good, don't
man.
worry.
But that's, I'm sorry, Aaron. That's fucked up,
I want
man.
to test the quality. Is it good porn or
Oh,
is it
dude,
like?
that, no, that's so.
Is it good porn?
I don't know. Yeah,
Odie just asked me if it's good porn
I
now.
don't know.
Of course it is. I only watch the best porn, bro. No,
Somebody came into your live stream?
No, someone came out. Someone released a live stream, and I went on the live stream for a second. I just scrolled over it, and yeah, it was some full on fucking penetration going on.
Oh
I'm
my
like, damn, bro.
gosh.
Who's posting this shit? I think Camille's gonna pull up. He's gonna tell us some crazy stories right now.
Nice.
We'll see.
Nice.
I actually like the format of this podcast where it's I like open mic, like drop in if you want. You want to talk shit, want to get yourself
a good
canceled.
format. Yeah.
You know, you want to fucking shake your booty on camera, whatever. Crazy.
I think in the case of Caesars,
Yeah.
I think ignorance is bliss. I think once you see that, you can't unsee it, and they should probably kill you. I think you have to be either like, they have to probably do like an insane amount of therapy and like mentally test you often, because I imagine the shit you probably see at Caesars.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think a regular person
FBI especially
would
too.
not be able to see that. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so imagine like, oh, there was like a thwarted attack this morning at Union Station, and like the public doesn't know. Like, your job is probably to keep it quiet.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like a
Oh, that's dope.
major.
I'd love that shit.
Dude,
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
fucked
not just seeing some of this shit, man. Like,
I'd get hard.
oh,
Oh my god. No, but seriously, no, I hear you. Like, or working on CP cases, man.
that's
Oh,
what
God.
I'm
Dude, that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up.
Keep me away from that.
No, but I think that's part of the training though, is to actually be able to know how to turn off your brain and like just to like act
Yeah,
professionally,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Act professionally and be like, hey, you see like a
I-
whatever, like a CP, and you like turn it off, just do the job,
Yeah.
right? Like,
So I respect people who don't have to do that job.
No, I don't think they do that much stuff, bro. Come on, guys. It's
No,
like-
there's a lot of
Oh,
fucked up
for-
shit.
bro, for
dude.
sure,
Dude,
man.
there's lots of fucked up
Yeah,
shit.
but-
Maybe Canada not as bad as the US, but being US, like FBI Secret Service, something like
There's a lot of fucked up shit. Don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to
so
say
much
here is
shit.
that it's not like
It's a really sad world we live in.
I'm just trying to
Really
say.
sad
So
world.
what I'm trying to say is it's not like CC's stopping it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, come on.
No,
well, they
CSIS
got it
has
on,
been-
man. They got it on, man.
They're somewhat successful. Give them some
There's
credit.
15 re-education centers in the country.
That's
15 re-education centers, which are good because you should
very
be,
concerning to me.
not really, you should be deterring terrorists from going from like, you know, like regular Muslim to
Re-education center.
yeah, in Canada, there's 15 that are actually funded by the Muslim Association to deter people from being extremists, which is what we need, right?
So it's
a
not-
stable society.
it's
Yeah, I agree.
Like, why would like that makes sense? Why would you not have that?
Elaborate on re-education, because here's the thing. There is a lot of.
Actually, these centers also are working with mosques as well
So
in
let me
Canada.
say, hey, CSIS, let me just flat out say first of all that I said here I'm going to apply to your job first. Right? But what I would say here about the concern about like a re-education center is that there's a lot of valid reasons for probably a lot of like people of the Muslim world to validly want to destroy the Western world.
Oh yeah,
Okay, we want to talk about this? We're going to
Great,
get answer together? We're going to
great,
get
well, they
answer
shouldn't do it here.
That's an interesting
Well,
topic.
But they shouldn't be doing it here. That's why we
Yeah,
have
but
these
I'm
centers,
just
right?
trying to say when you bomb some little kid's wedding and he's the only one that survived, he may want to destroy the U.S. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
No,
well,
it's
of
my-
course.
my
Yeah,
parents were killed by a drone strike, so I will join.
Yeah,
I will join ISIS. That's
yeah,
been my
yeah,
life
yeah.
trying to get
Of
revenge.
course, yeah, I would do the same.
I'm
A lot of people would.
Let's say I'm not educated. Let's say I'm just, I would just, dude, I would do the exact same shit.
Well, of course.
Yeah, when little Malik comes over here,
Malik?
I actually thought about I don't know why I was gonna write it like a story, like a movie, right? So basically, it's like this idea of like this little kid, he's going to a wedding in Syria. You know what I'm trying to say? He pulls up there to the wedding, boom, fucking drone strike. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. So it's terrible. Everyone.
Does anybody want to suck?
I'm down.
Oh,
I'm down.
I
don't do drugs, man.
it's a plastic dick.
So
You suck the glass. You suck the plastic. It's a plastic dick, bro.
No. I want to.
You suck the glass. It's smoking crack. It's smoking the plastic dick, bro.
I need to finish the story. Okay, so anyhow, so Malik, he's at the wedding. He's mad pissed, right? So he joins a madrasa where he gets brought in by a fundamental Islamist, teaches them the way of of jihad and like war on the West,
Yeah.
right? So he spends like fucking 10 years becoming a hardened terrorist,
Hardened terrorist.
It's like life of a Taliban man.
Ready to go. He builds a
Al Qaeda recruit number one right here.
he builds a network, right? He's ready to go to the U.S. to like destroy Western culture, right?
Okay.
He gets over here, and the first thing he sees is woke people and academics.
Okay.
and just Western culture being destroyed. And he's just so angry because they're like, fuck you motherfuckers, you took this from me too! You sons of bitches! You sons of bitches! I can't even do this!
Would this be a stoner
That's
comedy?
yeah.
Would this be a stoner comedy?
Yeah, that's that.
I know it sounded serious, but I think it could be a stoner comedy.
Yeah.
It could be blasphemous. It could be offensive to everyone. The maximally offensive movie.
Do you want this or I don't know?
No, I don't do drugs.
Yeah, plastic penis. Yeah, so, no, I read Osama bin Laden's biography, not fucking biography, The Living Tower. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
Lawrence Wright.
yeah,
No, he's here.
What's up, Camille? So,
Wait, so wait, did this all have a big
ready
ready?
for the shit? What's up? We're filming right now. You guys know there.
A couple people.
How you doing?
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
Kenny.
Go on, Evie.
How you guys doing?
And you guys can we'll stop for a second. You guys can hop on camera if you guys want. We're podcasting right now.
Yo,
Yeah.
I actually brought something I think you'll really like.
What'd you bring, bro?
Bean Boost.
Oh yeah? Oh, I know about these.
Yeah, I kind of opened it though.
Thanks, man. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, you just gonna.
I know these are. I've had this before, but I trust you, bro.
Why? You're not supposed to trust me. You're not supposed to.
We got guys on camera right now. My crib.
Bing
What's
bong,
up?
let's
Oh,
go.
oh my God.
Shout out Eric.
We're all getting canceled today. You can hop over there if you want. I'm gonna come back to the door. Shit. My bad. And what's up? But we're talking about Al Qaeda, terrorism, Bin Laden.
Oh, that's why you invited me.
Yeah.
Hey, my name's Adrian.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
You guys can get a seat if you want.
Camille?
OT, nice to meet you.
Hey man, Evie.
Derek. Nice to meet you. Adrian. Derek? Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, OT.
Yeah, feel free to take a seat wherever you
Okay, so one person sit there, then one person sit next to everybody else.
I'm putting my bag right here.
It's all good. You guys want to be, and this is gonna go on YouTube, but we're doing. You have the option of not getting tagged.
Yeah, no tags for me.
Shit, yeah.
That's all good.
Yeah, so
One person, one person else.
I went down this rabbit hole, right? Because I'm like, well,
Take a seat, guys.
at first I was looking
Do
into.
you guys want like a beer, drink, water, like one glass of water, ice?
Ice water?
Yeah, I'll get you. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'll start the camera. All right.
How you doing?
Good, I'm good.
Good. Welcome.
All right. So we got. Oh my bad, I'll eat that.
We're just chatting about random
So we got,
topics. Anything comes to your mind.
We got Camille and his buddy in the place, and we're doing a
Oh,
podcast.
man, if you want to talk about euthanasia, man, we can get into that shit.
Euthanasia.
I'm a euthanasia. I was a euthanasia, bro. I was a euthanasia.
But
Well,
let's
so
let
say,
Evie finish his
first
thought
I
on
was
Islamic
looking into,
terrorism. Al-Qaeda.
well, actually before that, I was looking into the re-education camps in China, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
re-edu
yeah.
camp. And first I was like, I was wondering, what do like other like Arab Muslim countries think about re-education camps? Well, do you know that like something like 8 countries, so like Saudi Arabia,
Do you want a cup of water?
Sure, yeah.
Sure. There you go.
countries like Saudi Arabia, Indonesia,
Yeah.
I think it was like Qatar, a bunch of other countries had signed on to like a pact with China to like fund not these specific camps, but like domestic terrorism, Muslim activities in China. Other countries actually helped China create not these education, but related activities. I didn't know that.
No. So it's because in Saudi Arabia there's this group called the Wahhabis.
That's right.
So
The Wahhabis.
So the Wahhabis, the Wahhabis historically, essentially during the Crusades, were like the warring class, right? So they're located. Well, I don't know, whatever. So like in Saudi Arabia, it doesn't matter. The Wahhabis generally are primarily located geographically in Saudi Arabia. They have a relationship with the royal family because this whole thing happened in I think it was the late 80s and the 90s.
Osama was the royal builder.
Was it the 80s or the 90s? It doesn't matter. Basically, they
he's,
invaded Mecca, right? Because they were like, yo, the royal family is
Oh, that's fucking horrible.
they said that
That tastes like penis, bro.
they said the royal family is participating too much in indulgences. It's getting too far away from the idea of Islam, and they don't like that anymore. So they actually they invaded Mecca, right? So as a result for this, what happened was the royal family said, all right, cool, like get out of there. Like what we'll do is we'll provide you funding from the energy, like the profits that we make, right? And you can use that money for whatever you want. So there's like, I forget, like I did a project in the school. I forget what the name for it, but basically the Wahhabis did this thing called conversion of the West, right? So they started basically funding like different groups. One of the groups was Nation of Islam. We talked about this.
Fucking Malcolm X.
So I'm very familiar
Elijah
with this.
Muhammad.
Yeah, there's actually this. Yes, the Wahhabis are a group of fundamental Islamists that essentially fund terrorist organizations globally. And
ISIS, Al Qaeda, Bin Laden was Wahhabist.
And they're not the only ones. Like Iran, like finances the Houthis. You have there's a question about the Houthis.
Yeah, that's the Yemen civil war right now.
Yeah. So but yeah, there's a 100% like definitely like a market for like funding and like servicing
Funding terrorism.
I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, but
Oh, you know what's also crazy? Pakistan Secret Service, ISI.
ISI.
Yo, they've been funding a group called Lashkar-e-Taiba. And they do terrorist attacks in India constantly.
I had this boring on
Yo, the Mumbai,
huge ass bar.
the fucking Mumbai hotel.
You do it.
attack.
You rip that.
No, these guys already did this shit.
Yeah, we already saw this.
These guys are fucking. You want one?
We're gonna get higher later.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
man.
drove here,
Dude,
so-
it's so fucked up, man. Can you imagine like
been a while
state-sponsored active terrorism?
Really coming down,
That's so fucked up.
as an African, totally, I can.
Well, of course, yeah, as an African.
I mean,
No,
yeah.
but
I mean,
Yes.
As an Indian, like,
Oh,
I
okay.
grew up
Yeah,
knowing
okay,
all
yeah,
that,
no,
and like,
yeah.
it's one of the weirdest things where like everyone talks about Russia,
Yeah.
States,
Okay.
North Korea in terms of like
would you
the
mind passing
next
my
nuclear
shawarma?
threat.
It smells like
The most,
You know, Pakistan
the
is
most
the nuclear
unstable nuclear whatever
thank you so much.
superpower tussle is India Pakistan.
Of course, yeah.
That is the most
Yeah, it's
like,
really sad. It's
like they've run studies and tests to see,
Yeah,
and research basically shows like the most likely
Alright,
nuclear
Mine-
sort of
yeah,
nuclear
no, that
Armageddon
sounds right to me.
is that
Yeah.
one.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Ice cold.
No, it's really sad.
But you have to go back to what Canada's doing.
You're university in Canada?
In some under Harper's regime, they opened up these like 15.
So you guys weren't smoking weed.
At the time, they called it
Canadian University is fucking.
de-radicalization centers,
Yes.
which work in conjunction with Canada's religious temples, mosques, and all that.
Yeah.
They've now rebranded to like, modern re-education camps basically for Canada. But the point is they work with like mostly CSIS to bring in individuals who they feel like they could be like a threat to local communities.
Yeah.
So this is actually taxpayer funded. And
Yeah,
it's like,
okay, interesting.
it's actually very interesting that like
Gang shit.
they
You know what's also interesting is that a lot of terrorists, domestic, specifically Islamic terrorists in Canada, I read a book on this. Apparently, a lot of them are not actually from poverty. A lot of them are actually educated.
oh
Yeah. So I'm not saying that
Ice,
you can't.
baby.
I'm not saying that poverty is not a factor in terrorism. I'm just saying that specifically in the context of Canada, a lot of them were actually like like Bachelor of Engineering, etc.
So I actually went to.
Like the Saudi terrorists on 9/11, almost all of them had engineering. Like, they're educated.
Allegedly, I may have gone to school with some people that attended Metropolis.
Oh, really? Eh? Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
Okay, well, you guys, anything you want to talk about this podcast on topic? Is there anything you want to say? Because I'm going to cut and edit this and give it to you after. Do you have like a 3-minute story? Anything crazy you want to say on the podcast while you're here?
We can talk about medically assisted suicide. Guys, you want to get ready to euthanasia, man? Anything, literally anything you want to talk about.
Story,
So long as we don't
fucking
get completely
music industry. Yo, did you tell me about like fucking? Did you ever fucking like sleeping at Drake's house or some shit one time? You tell me a story about that.
That was a while ago. But I actually do have a funny story. Not a funny
Yo,
story.
the camera's off, Eric, isn't it?
No, it's on. It's all on. We're recording. Go ahead.
On this topic.
Sure.
Because so my uncle is like part of the Montreal Police.
Seriously?
And he's also like an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
And so he was like 16 years old. I told you this story, right? So he launched one of his companies. He had a bunch of PR about it, but he also was on maternity leave because he had a baby.
Okay.
Or his wife had a baby, and he was just taking care of it. And so during this time, he was getting threatened by some because his name is like a white ass name. He like converted to Islam, and so if you guys didn't know, I'm Muslim, my family's Muslim.
Okay.
And stuff. And so which is weird. I don't know half the shit you guys talking
It's
about.
okay. It's okay.
But we learn every day. And so pretty much, how you doing? And so pretty much, he asked me, he's like, yo, like, can you help me find out who this dude is? Because like fucking PD was like, you know what I mean, like loafing on that stuff. So as like a 16-year-old fucking little homie, I set up a decoy Facebook account. And
Fuck, Jesus
I
Christ.
started talking to this dude who was like fully threatening this guy, like not a real Muslim, any of this bullshit.
Oh,
like that.
wow.
And then I ended up dating him and clicking the link where I got all of his computer information, his IP address, everything like that.
This is fucking crazy, bro.
And then I started taking a look at because he had a VPN on. I don't know how the fuck, 16 years old. I used to do the Xbox shit where I tell people their addresses, so I know how to do like a little bit of something.
That African accent, like I'm gonna come and murder you. Have you seen that shit?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
So fucking funny. Have you seen that shit? It's like a scary Nigerian war. Like I'm gonna come to your house and murder you. That doesn't keep going.
He's like, so we clicked the link, and then we saw that he was in a southeastern province of Turkey.
Oh, okay.
I just left it at that. I didn't know too much later. I reconnected with my uncle again earlier this year, and yeah, Derek was actually there when I got that phone call. And they had identified that individual. I didn't know that the southeastern province of Turkey, like in the mountains, borders Syria, and that's where like a bunch of like terrorists.
Oh shit!
Okay.
And so what happened was they ended up identifying the individual who did that, and they found his brother or like one of his relatives, I think it was his brother in Quebec, and they were recruiting terrorists and shit like that.
Oh wow!
So my uncle and the RCMP busted on their door.
Wow.
Dude, this is a fucking crazy story. This is a fucking crazy story. That's definitely a crazy story.
Terrorist when I was 16.
That's good for you.
That's a fucking epic story.
That's a wild.
Shout out Xbox Live.
Holy shit! Oh, shout out Xbox Live, Jesus Christ!
Microsoft stock goes
Holy
down.
shit!
That's one story. It's a country of 40 million people. I bet you there's so much shit that goes down that you don't even know.
Wasn't
bro.
Osama caught because he was playing Half-Life?
No, he wasn't.
I hope not.
No, hold on. Osama bin Laden played Counter-Strike.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, but
Counter-Strike?
that's not why he was caught.
How funny is it that Osama bin Laden played Counter-Strike?
Dude, he did all sorts of shit. You know, he used
Yo,
to
but
play
no, come on. He had
Nintendo.
some.
Eric and I read the biography. So
He had some.
Yeah.
He had some that was hilarious.
Listen,
Like,
they were living in caves in fucking Bora Tora, fucking Pakistan. They were in Islamabad. They were in fucking, obviously Afghanistan at a certain point. And like, dude, he had 3 wives. He was
Fuck them all,
fucking all of
sick
them. He
every
had a huge porn collection. Huge porn. CIA still has classified all his porn.
Yeah.
So they found all his fucking porn.
He's a big fan of Noam Chomsky.
He's a
You know
so
that?
He had an econ degree at the Saudi University. I was somewhat educated. He liked Cadillacs.
Somewhat.
He rode horses all the fuck. He's really good at husbandry in terms of like looking after horses, etc. He had multiple businesses in Sudan. He was doing tons of shit, dude. Dude, you know he dug his own caves during the Afghan war? Isn't that crazy? Because he had skills as a because his father. His father owned $30 million US minimum like net worth of construction building in Saudi Arabia.
His dad was the royal builder for the
Yeah, he was
Saudi
a royal builder
for the Saudi royals.
The house of Saud.
Yeah.
And like it's crazy because he was a Yemeni contractor who moved because he was ethnically Yemeni. His father moved to Saudi Arabia. Developed a construction business over time, starting off as a shitty labor, working his way up in management, and then eventually owning a company. So Osama bin Laden's born into this large family of he's like fucking 20 kids or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And so like he's come from, you can't start Al Qaeda without wealth.
Yeah.
You know, the other guy who's in charge of Al Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri, is an Egyptian surgeon.
Yeah.
So Al Qaeda was actually founded in the Afghan War, 1988, in Peshawar, Pakistan. Next to Afghanistan. During the Afghan War, by an Egyptian surgeon from an upper middle class family in Egypt, and fucking Osama bin Laden, son of a multi-millionaire construction magnate.
Yeah.
So like, looking at the structure of that, it's like no wonder that Al Qaeda really became so successful.
Yeah.
And like people think about 9/11, people think about 2001, but you can also look at, for example, 1993. Because 1993 was the first World Trade Center attack.
Yeah.
And so there was a truck full of fucking fertilizer.
No, it's like he was like the original Gary Vee.
Oh, dude! I was gonna make that comparison.
That's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Yo, you can terrorize too. Yo, no fucking problem. Yo, yeah, you can start
That's not fucked up though.
It doesn't matter what it is. Get a suicide jacket, bro. Get a bomb. It doesn't matter. Yeah, try to
the brand.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna call that brand. Dude, no.
You gotta hustle. You gotta.
That's a weird analogy, man. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's crazy. And like, because they fucking blew up embassy, and isn't that why you're here, Odie?
Yeah, well,
Isn't that why you're here? 'Cause the
they
embassy
bombed
bombing?
Nairobi. Yeah,
They fucking bombed the Nairobi embassy,
bombed
U.S.
the-
embassy.
yeah, because-
Al Qaeda's first major attack.
Yeah,
Fucked up,
because
man.
there's a whole bunch of things about like Kenya and like how the fact that like there's like Western like powers that fund politicians there that do things that aren't exactly the best for the Islamic world. There's a whole backdrop of relationships between Islam and like middle of fucking Africa and the slave trade and blah 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 blah, and it goes for fucking ever. But yeah, there's been a lot of fucking terrorist activity to this day. Specifically just due to the fact that we live on the eastern fucking coast of Africa, right? So it's complex. But yeah, Osama's definitely like you know, the hide and seek champion.
Oh, dude, he was fapping all the time, man. He was fapping hard, playing Counter-Strike, Nintendo with his kids.
No, dude, take that. So I read his book. So when he was hiding in the caves of Afghanistan, at one point in time, the U.S. government was trying to kill this motherfucker. Yeah. He was living on bread and water.
Yeah.
That's all they fucking. They're living on well water and fucking bread for like months on end. And then like his wives are like, what? His 3 fucking wives. He's like, why the fuck are we living on well water and fucking bread? And you know what he said to them? He says, the Prophet Muhammad did the same thing, so you will too.
Yeah, that's
And he's like, get up every day. I'm gonna sit the same way the Prophet Muhammad. I'm gonna sit how he does. I'm gonna eat like how he does. I'm gonna when I'm eating, I'm gonna sit in the same position that he does. I'm gonna like model my life after this guy who's a very, very devout person at the end of the day.
Oh, so devout, man.
And dudes were saying things like when they were fighting, the cave kept getting bombed, and he had an IV drip, and that was stopping him from dying.
That's right.
And what happened is that I think by the end of it, he's just like he's just like the IVs kept falling out, and the IV balls kept dropping and smashing on the ground and shit like that. And he kept saying that like. If we pray, this will stop happening. If we pray, the IV bottle will stay, and I can get my so I don't die of having like the flu, right? And then like I think by the 8th time, the bottle stopped dropping, and he's like, yes, that's.
Man, you remember that? That's right. That's
Prophet Muhammad stopped the bottle of IV fluid from dropping, so I can be saved today. And it was this very it showed me the power of like belief. And when he was in South Sudan, they were living really peacefully, and they were farming, and they had like a great community. And he was just like, he's like, yeah, man, life is really good. We're at peace. No one's fighting. I'm not trying to kill anyone. I'm not trying to bomb any towers right now. But at the same time, deep down inside, I cannot let go of my jihad. We need to go back to war. When I read that part of the book, I was like, oh my god. It's one of the best books.
He has so many businesses.
Okay,
it's not one of the best book recommendations.
It's one of the best books I've ever read.
You guys gotta read this.
Yeah,
It's
so
a biography on
it's the most video.
It's so good. Because you learn so much about his history.
That's like a winner mentality, right? It's like
That's a winner mentality.
That's not no. Are you a terrorist?
Yo, what are you saying? What are you saying?
That's like Michael Jordan coming back for the 3-peat. He's like, we gotta run it. We gotta run it back. We gotta run it back. That's how winners think, right? They're like, you can't. Well, not just winners. People who are obsessed with craft.
For sure.
I don't want to say craft.
But in a super negative. Okay, no.
I'm saying you're obsessed.
Okay.
You can't let it go, right?
Yeah.
He's at peace. Literally, he could let it go. He could all fucking.
They could have stopped.
He could have stopped, right? But like, I gotta run it back.
The other guy who founded, I guess like he was a big promoter of Wahhabism and like sort of Muslim extremism in general. But like I'm in al-Zawahiri, so when he was in the U.S. studying, he studied in the U.S. So he's studying there.
That's Said Qutb.
Said
Qutb is a predecessor to Ayman al-Zawahiri.
Yeah,
Said Qutb is the Egyptian,
the original founder. Okay,
that's right.
So he was studying in the U.S. and he had a major critique of the U.S. So he's going around. He's like, you guys are like the women here are free, and you guys drink alcohol, and you guys go partying, and it's like the women here are very sexual, and they go to the beach and they're in the bikinis, they show their bodies, and he was fucking because this was like in the 1930s.
No, a bit later.
He was a big critique of the U.S. culture in general. He was just shocked by it, right? So when I was watching that, I was like, fuck, like. I can like just imagine him coming the next day from Egypt, and then when he went back, this is why Al Qaeda they're so famous and notorious for torturing the fuck out of people. It's because like I guess when if I correct me right, like when Said Qutb went back to Egypt, I think Ayman al-Zawahiri, he was captured by the police for protesting.
Correct.
And then what happened is they put.
Man, you remember this well.
Yeah, well, anyways, this is like anyways, so in Egypt, what happened is that. When he was in jail, they tortured the fuck out of him, and then all of his students who also supported him, they tortured the fuck out of those guys too. So when they found it all kind of, they're like, all right, man, we're gonna get a revenge. You guys tortured us. We're gonna torture them. We're gonna fucking rip your teeth out. We're gonna rip your fucking nails out. We're gonna fucking hit you with the electrical wires. We're gonna cut your ribs open. We're gonna like all the shit that because the Egyptian police were actually quite cruel to them as well.
Yes, they were. So this is when Gamal Nasser became president, and so it was a kind of period where Egypt was changing from rule under an Albanian king. So they wanted to secularize Egypt. And so at the time, you had warring factions between conservative Muslims versus a secularization of domestic policy from Gamal Nasser. So Eric's totally right. Long story short, like because Al Qaeda is much later, 1988. But Al Jihad in Egypt, which is the original group, which eventually turned actually into Muslim Brotherhood, which is fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So even contemporary Egyptian politics would actually be traced to this terrorist cell back
man.
They were doing some fucked up shit. Dude, what they did, they actually sodomized a 10-year-old on camera.
They
did crazy shit. They did that to blackmail various people to get more information.
Yeah.
The Egyptian police were so corrupt.
When I saw this, it's this whole idea.
Shit, man, so
It's
bad.
this whole idea of like, fuck, who was saying this? I think it was one of all this on like YouTube was saying that the reason why Americans are so into Star Wars because. Okay, dude. Like, dude, what happens in Star Wars? We have the Sith who run the fucking New Order, right? And then we have the Empire. And then what are the rebels? The rebels are a highly disorganized group of fucking degenerates who are never organized. They don't have their shit together, and they're always because they're not organized and because they're so degenerate and they're
It's always franchise, right?
they're the fucking slave population of the Sith at the time. Right? So what ends up happening is where's my phone? All this fucking shit. So Americans relate to that shit. So when they go to war, if you're a kid, they're saying this is why culture is really important because culture can brainwash your population into thinking this is okay. So it's kind of, so you're a soldier. You're just like, yo, dude, I'm like fucking Finn in fucking Star Wars, where I'm like, yo, I'm a stormtrooper, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna, I work for the New Order. I'm gonna liberate the fucking. But at the end of the day, what do you really? If you tell all these little kids, because kids don't understand, like even the history of Al Qaeda is so complicated.
It's very complicated.
It's so complicated. Like I'm just like I could not study this in high school and fully understand the I guess the complexity of the issue. But what can kids understand when you're 12 years old? Star Wars, bro. Star Wars, bro. It's like you're a stormtrooper. You train. We're gonna fucking deploy you. You're gonna shoot all these motherfuckers. And what are you doing? You're working for the Force. You work for the Jedi. You're a good guy. You're a good.
Are you saying Star Wars is analogous to Islamic terrorism? What do you
Yes.
say?
Yes. I am. That's what I'm saying.
What the fuck?
No.
I'll give you
better. Because kids don't understand.
Yeah, jihad night this year.
When you're 12 years old, what is the jihad? What is the jihad, bro? That's motherfucking center.
Okay, no, you're right. You're actually right.
Jedi.
I understand what you're saying.
Kids,
What you're trying to say.
No, kids need to
Because the Sith is the U.S., they're Israel, and the fucking rebels are like Egyptians, Syrians, like all.
What do we find?
Afghans.
If you're a 12-year-old kid,
No, that's actually right.
No,
I
and the
actually hear what
Sith
you're saying.
come and nuke your
Yo,
entire
Tatooine's
neighborhood.
a desert planet.
It's a desert planet,
man.
and
It's a fucking desert planet.
No, so what's up happened? You're just like I'm a rebel force who's being oppressed by a technologically and economically superior force that has crazy technological power. They have drone strikes. They have nukes. So they have more money than us. So but I'm a rebel force. So what can I do? Because I have the motherfucking force. What is the force? The force is the fucking religion, bro. I'm gonna fucking learn how to use lightsaber. I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers. I'm gonna spend my. What is jihad? What is jihad? It's the Jedi's rebelling against the. Anyways, so the reason why he said the reason why American media
And the
got fucked
Empire has
up.
eyes everywhere.
And then they'll spy me. They got drones. They got seats. They got fucking shit. So
That's true. It's Obama. It's fucking Obama drones.
So what's this historian saying? He's saying like Star Wars has brainwashed a generation of kids into thinking that they're always like because Star Wars has existed before around the Vietnam War, slightly after.
Slightly after. 1977 is Star Wars the first hope.
Yeah.
Vietnam War would have been 1973.
No. So they're saying that like a lot of American kids are just brainwashed into thinking like it's all justified because in a very simple way, if you were to kind of like I don't know simplify like the Middle Eastern conflict and religious conflict into.
No, I hear you. You know the Call of Duty series are kind
That's exactly
Oh,
what
dude,
they're
that's
saying.
so.
That's
That's
exactly.
Call of Duty
That movie is
No.
The game is so
Please
fucked up.
understand.
Ayman al-Zawahiri is literally in Modern Warfare 1.
Is
You
he?
guys don't understand this, bro.
Yo, that's so fucked
Ayman
up.
al-Zawahiri is the fucking. He's the main bad guy.
Oh.
He's the main
No,
bad
that's
guy.
it, bro.
Yeah, man. The jackal? Yo, that's Ayman al-Zawahiri, bro. They fuck yo. Like, sorry. No. Yo, they didn't even fucking crib corners. You know what I'm trying to say?
Crazy, man.
Yo, like
That's literally U.S. propaganda.
Captain Price is MI6. It's not even just U.S. propaganda. Captain Price is MI6. You know what I'm trying to like? This guy's fucking. Yo, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's NATO propaganda.
No, I know. Yo,
They teach you how to fucking utilize NATO arms, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Think about it, bro. They teach you.
The U.S. government funds Call of Duty.
Yeah,
and if you're a six never apparently they give you emails being like, would you like to join the U.S. Army? It's a recruiting platform. for the US Army, bro. It's amazing.
America's army. So they started back in Vietnam. So they started realizing when they brought general infantry over from the fucking when they draft people in that they wouldn't actually shoot the Viet Cong. They would shoot above. So they were like, how do we fix this? They're like, we have to simulate them shooting a live body before they get to war.
I've seen the stormtrooper training with Finn, how he gets brainwashed, where like they train in the simulator to come in and just shoot everyone, and then when they actually deploy, he's like running around the village shooting everyone. He takes his helmet off. He's like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm just I'm killing like women and children right now. And everyone else, and then fucking Kylo Ren takes his helmet off and he looks at him. He looks at him. He's like, I can sense that your force is awake, and I can sense that your morality. of what you're doing. 'Cause you're killing women and children. You're brainwashed too.
There's a mission in Call of Duty. You walk around a fucking airport murdering motherfuckers, bro. They ask you whether they ask you.
Amazing game.
They ask you, do you have the balls to do this shit or not? I feel like that in itself is a question. Yo, hey, there's gonna be a mission in this game. It's gonna be fucked. Do you want to do it or no? Yo, no fucking teenage boys be like, nah. You may go, this video game tell me it's gonna be a mission so fucked up I have to consider if I want to do. Yo, give me that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Really
give me that shit, bro. And you're walking around the airport. Like you and who are they? Russians. You guys are bad Russians. You're walking in there. This is all playing into Russophobia that we're doing right now. It's actually hilarious, man. No, literally. If you understand how much that all of. I've for a long time been a proponent of the structural functionalism, right? Like media is a huge part of our reality, and so it's always you have to be very conscious of the messaging that's coming out of media. Because again, that's why I say there's no such thing as a free market for media. There's taste making, taste curating.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like they create products, find the best one that the market likes, and then they double down on that one. They say, no, we want people to like this shit. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So, again, I'll go back to fucking Call of Duty. Literally, for the last 20 fucking years, there is no fighting age male that has not fucking played Call of Duty in North America. Straight up. And I'll say exactly by those terms. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I know
There's
what you're saying. It's unfortunate.
Let's not fetishize that shit. You know what I'm trying to say? We all know, very much so, NATO arms, NATO rounds. We all know applications of the guns. We all know, listen, you literally have played Call of Duty so much, you probably know how to do a drone strike. Legitimately. No.
Have you seen you get the plane, you're fucking spraying on the plane, you get the power up?
I've watched videos, this is anecdotally, but you watch videos of people who are drone operators, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they say, you'd be amazed how much it's exactly Call of Duty. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not amazed, bro. It's training, you know what I'm saying? So it makes perfect sense. Yeah. When you can get a guy in fucking Colorado to fucking kill niggas out here in fucking Syria. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, this is Obama's administration. Very logical. It's not just Obama. It's not just. There's so much to this, bro. Because the first Call of Duty came out way before Obama.
No, sure.
You know I understand. Yeah. So it's just I don't know. Going back to what you're trying to say in terms of Star Wars, now it's just funny. They actually get us to play video games. We're literally playing the shit out.
They're conditioning us.
Yeah, you're playing the shit out. You know what I mean? So it's
so after reading The Living Tower, Osama's book was so inspirational. I wanted to read the other fucking ultimate criminals: El Chapo, fucking Putin, and then Obama. Osama, Obama, your mama.
Anyways, you gotta read a Hitler biography next. I got one.
Oh no! I read one. I read one. I did read one German. I read it was just specifically on drug use during the World War.
It's called Blitzed.
Yeah, I read that one. That one was fuck, dude. He was doing on meth and they were doing like.
No, the Blitzkrieg could not have happened without meth.
Yeah, they were doing.
That was such an effective military strategy.
He was shooting so much meth, his veins collapsed. His arms were like fucked by the end of the
day. Do you know what's funny? It's like basically now just give them Adderall.
Right, with the military?
Yeah, just give them Adderall.
I do Adderall, bro.
No.
I like Adderall.
But you know what I'm trying to say?
You can't even find people for the military.
No.
You know what? Rolling rates are down by like 70% because they're too fat.
Dude, I believe it. No, back in the day, it used to be like all jocks and everything, and like no video game players. Now it's like everyone's playing fucking video games.
And rolling rates for last year,
everyone's sperm counts down.
70%.
Yeah.
They didn't pass physical. Too fat, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. People are just too beta these days.
Also, why they're reinvesting the art, like the military, into technological progress, right? They want to have people who basically do fucking drone strikes. Because people can't actually go out to the field.
Well, no, warfare's change. You don't need. Okay, here's the other part too. Like governments, it's almost gone. It's crazy. It's almost going back to how it's almost going back to how militaries first started, where militaries now are realizing, hey, we don't really need soldiers. We get contractors. Right? So, because
we're going full circle.
Mercenaries.
So it's like, I don't, and matter of fact, I don't want my soldiers going to do some shit.
I
would rather Blackwater go.
What's crazy? What's great? There's Russian mercenaries fighting African wars.
Yeah, I know.
That's really crazy. Central African Republic conflict there right now. A lot of Russian mercenaries there.
If you understand the mercenary market, bro, it's actually fucked up. There are Americans being paid by both sides, either Chinese or Russians or Americans, to fight in a war where basically it's you have an American on either side of it. It doesn't matter. It's whoever paid.
But right now the Chinese Air Force is being trained by ex-U.S. veterans of the Air Force. And you work for the U.S. military, dude. You get in a fucking hole. You fucking shoot. you fucking dig a ditch and shoot in a hole for a whole year straight as like a Navy SEAL, getting paid like 50 grand a year to do that, or work with the Chinese government, or any other government that'll pay you. It's 300 grand a year to be an Air Force
they pay you a crazy amount
specialist. It's 300 grand a year. So it's like, do you want to get paid? Do you want to be in the hole and be like shooting? You want to dig holes and shoot? Literally shooting in ditches all year long. That's what it's like to be an actual soldier. You're in a ditch. You're not showering from. It's grimy.
It's not
as
even
fuck.
that, bro. Like
Yeah.
the way the U.S. military works is fucked. You apply, they give you the most random job. You may not even get into combat. If you get into combat, you probably don't really want.
You don't want to be combat.
The idea of getting into combat is you have no control. Like once you so for example,
Yeah, of course you have no control.
everybody wants to be a SEAL, right? But it's like, yo, bro, it's part of the Navy.
It's
Right? You join the Navy. The Navy has to decide where the fuck you want to go. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like they'll like, yo, you're not gonna enjoy the fuck you're doing. Like, period, right? So like he's right. Like they'll pay you nothing. They'll treat you like shit. You're not doing anything you want to do. But you leave, and they'll fucking give you a contractor job that'll pay you fucking literally hundreds of thousands of fucking dollars.
That's what Blackwater is pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, you know, my friend told me he's really Canadian military. I said, "Oh, dude, you're in the Canadian military, man. Have you like kicked in doors and like fucking done like black ops?" And he looks at me and he's like, "Are you asking me if I'm in infantry?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude," he's like, "Fuck no, bro, I'm way smarter than that."
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, only dumbasses going to infantry, bro." He's like, "Dude, I'm a fucking engineer, man. I fucking build military weapons and tanks and shit like that." I don't. He's like, or on the computer. He's like, if you're a computer scientist, we're programming or hacking people. He's like, dog. He's like,
Yeah.
the IQ requirement to be infantry.
Yeah.
He's like, you're cannon fodder, well, they will shoot you.
Yeah.
What's up?
The big behind you, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, actually,
You call this the plastic dick?
So I was actually
That's right here, man.
I was gonna join the military because my dad was in the Navy.
Yo,
and
why don't you do reserves with me, man?
Yo, because
It's just reserves. It's not serious.
I'm a nigga, bro. I don't.
What the difference? Yo, you can do it with me, man.
Nah,
Canada, man. There's like
nah,
a lot
They're
of
not gonna. Oh, okay, it's gonna be tough. Okay,
My type doesn't survive well. Yo, they're gonna see me and be like, yo, you combat. Yo, like,
Whoa.
they're gonna be, I'm cool with that, bro. I don't need to fucking.
Fair enough. Fair
Also,
enough.
like, yo, I'm very anti-hierarchy. Like, I am not a
Yo,
guy.
fair. You know what's so hard? That's probably not gonna last. Like,
I
we'll
think
still
this
find out.
podcast is actually better than the last one we did.
Yeah.
I think this podcast is actually better than the last one we did is because the amount of shit talking and I think
No,
I'm
I
experienced
hear what
doing
you're
this now.
saying, Odie. But there's different jobs you can apply. So the two jobs I applied for are artillery officer and signals operator. So you
Yo, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be fucking firing.
Yo, for real, yeah.
You're
So
gonna be
they-
firing the
howitzers.
anti-aircraft
Yeah, the
weapons.
howitzers, they go about 15, 18 kilometer range.
Oh my god.
So it's enough to take out tanks and shit. Because there's a battalion like near Moss Park. So that's the one, and then the fitness test is on February 6th at Fort York.
I'll do Air Force.
You want to do
That's about it. I'll do Air Force.
the fitness test?
Fitness is a joke though. It's like, yo,
So say that again.
The fitness gram pacer test.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's just like a meme.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, sorry.
You know, like the fitness gram pacer test.
So what's that?
It's just, oh my god.
I have no idea.
Now this is embarrassing that no one else
No,
knows.
I have no idea. But anyways, yeah. So we'll find out. But I mean, you can kind of choose for the reserves. You can actually choose your job.
yeah, but yeah, I would only join Air Force though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't see. You have
That's-
glasses.
yeah, but like I would,
That disqualifies
I would be like a fighter pilot. I'm not gonna do that.
Air Force is probably the hardest.
They typically it's pretty hard. Air Force is actually probably the hardest.
Period. Like if you're in any format, jumping out of a plane in the military, your back is fucked.
You know what else I heard was that the AC-130 gunners ingest so much of like that like fucked up chemicals
Yeah.
that they all have like a very highly increased rate of cancer.
Oh yeah, all that shit.
I believe
Well, have you heard recently? This is the U.S. military. Recently, they just got the lawsuit to fucking finally give all these cancer patients. So they used to have burn pits when they went to over the Middle East, in Iraq and Afghanistan.
What a burn pit?
Burn pits. So
burn
get this. So you know what a burn pit is?
No.
The units literally all their trash they're just burned. So and
Oh man, that's toxic.
so everything. So like arms, like garbage,
Oh,
everything. There'd be a huge pit. They just burn everything and then have people posted around there all the time, burning shit, just taking all that smoke.
Okay.
Right?
What's up,
All
Ghetto,
these
bro?
guys got cancer, right? And it took so long for them to get payouts.
Shit.
Yeah, because so that's what I'm trying to say. Being in the military, man, you're a military
The Canadian
asset.
military is not as bad as the US.
Your meat.
It's
not as bad.
The military is a military, in my opinion. I just like it's you're not. You're an asset. Your body is.
You're a bot, dude.
Yeah, of course you are.
Dude, like,
Yeah,
the amount of
it's
people.
not, I'm not saying it's great.
If you look at the whole history, man, the amount of people dying around the World War, you're a fucking statistic. I think like 20 million people died during, 50 million people died in World War II. World War I was.
About 50 million World War II.
It's fucking like that's the entire
That's
country of
including
Canada.
civilians. That's including
That's fucking insane, bro.
Twice the entire
Yeah,
country.
everyone is dead. Everyone even know, and their moms, and their grandparents, and their teachers, and all their
It's a
friends, and
sad world,
fucking
man. We live in a
sister-in-law,
sad
everyone's fucking dead.
It's a sad world.
It's amazing, bro.
But yo, if shit
Yeah.
popped off and like the economy's fucked,
Yep.
like jobs can't go on the way they are. Are you gonna join or no? Like let's say
Yes.
shit like Ukraine and Russia pops up super hard right now, and we decide to go full in. You know, like the only jobs left right now are you have to do some sort of military application.
Sure.
All right,
We have no
propaganda.
choice. Propaganda. I mean, you're the propaganda minister. Voting for
Brand
propaganda
promotion.
minister.
Exactly.
Well, they're putting me in a
Military
internment camp.
influence
You know,
too.
try to see.
Oh fuck! What the fuck, bro? Do you know how military is? Like David Goggins is kind of like a military influencer. He talks so much about the
No,
military.
he's right, because then when
Yeah.
you have influence, you have power. You have power, you have leverage. You have leverage and go to war.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Like,
Yeah,
the guy,
yeah.
send me to war, I have 1 million followers.
Nah, you're the
Oh,
one that
no. In Korea, they will do. They fucking this guy in BTS. He fucking joined the military recently. He shaved his fucking head. In Korea, they will make you do that shit. You know what though? I don't think there's anything wrong with that, man. He's such a good example for the younger people. He's 28 years old. He's a multi-millionaire at this point. He's millions of followers. He's like the oldest member of BTS. Shaved his head. Joined the military. It's just something you do. It's just something you do in Korea when you get a certain age. It's like getting married or some
You know
bullshit.
what?
Join the
Here, people
military.
can probably use it. You drop them in like a forest here, they can't even, they don't even know.
No, for real, I'm kind of sympathetic. Kind of
Like,
sympathetic to
how
that.
do people don't know how to forage properly? They don't know how to start a fire without.
It would. These are good skills to know.
I'm like,
Yeah,
You
survival
should teach us
skills.
in high school at least.
Yeah.
They do. They gave us the book Hatchet.
Dude, honestly, that guy's a gangster now. If you read the book,
Yeah,
Hatchet,
I know,
he's
no,
a gangster.
don't get me wrong, that's a
Like,
good book.
And that's, I think
But
I would die. I think I would die if that was me. He's like,
Well,
his
of
plane
course.
crashes, the plane goes under
it's
the
fucking
fucking
sick, yeah, it's
lake.
fucking
He
sick, yeah.
swims. I'm like, okay, first of all,
No, I
most
love the
people would just,
survival.
you would probably
Survival's
get
my
killed.
favorite genre.
You would get
Perfect
killed
storm.
when
You're the
that
perfect
plane hits
storm.
the lake. You're probably
You're the perfect
dead.
storm. Yo, you're the
Fucking
It's also Crusoe, man. Crusoe.
It's also a Canadian book too, so it happens in Northern Ontario, which is like, you know, they film freaking Survivorman in Northern Ontario because it's so extreme. Like, what's Canada like? Like, drive 6 hours north. It is so extreme. They film survival shows about Northern Ontario. That is how fucking cold. The odds of you dying are like, it's like Bear Grylls is out in the fucking desert, which is 6 hours north of Ontario. Cottage country. You build cottages up there.
Yeah.
You know what has cottages in the fucking Sahara Desert? I read Bear Grylls' book, bro. Bear Grylls. I read his book. I read Bear Grylls' book. I read Gordon Ramsay's book. I read David Chang's book. I read. What's it called? I drink piss.
Piss and autobiography.
Dude, he talks about it in the SAS.
Yeah,
So.
toss that bomb. Yeah.
Oh, you're hitting on camera?
Yeah.
You fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
Yo, British SAS, man, that's crazy shit.
Dude, I'll pack some more.
Nah, I
I'll pack some
have
more
zero
down.
respect for the British man.
Yo, dude, we had Josh here last weekend, bro.
You can say that.
Yo, fuck those guys, bro. You're not trying to see. James,
Yeah, actually, fuck the British.
James Bond's pansy ass, bro. This motherfucker never got his hands dirty. I
Oh.
don't give a fuck about that shit. You know, like, fuck that.
Put an Aston.
Huh?
He got an Aston Martin.
Yeah, fuck
Put an
that.
Aston.
Yo, Julio, you're not trying to say, man, like, get a Jeep or something, bro. Come on.
Get a Jeep.
Fucking out of that shit, man. Like,
Get a Jeep.
I hate that shit.
is that, did you ash this first or like?
No, I just put my weed on top. There's no screen. Just hit it. There's no screen.
No, I can't. No, because it's like carbon. That's not actually how you get like.
That's not. Dude, you're smoking.
That's
Whatever,
like
man.
cancer.
No, yeah, it's
Well, I think you're
We're concerned about hitting cancer. We're fucking
Yeah,
hitting
yeah,
the fucking
well,
world now.
That's no. You know that's not also why you shouldn't eat like burnt steak.
Yeah, it's the same
Because
logic.
you get gout. Yeah, it's the carbon.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
I'm doing some sleep.
You're from Kenya.
Yeah.
That's it. My father was born in Kenya.
Oh no way.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can as well.
But he got kicked out by Idi Amin. Because he stayed in Uganda a little bit.
I mean, Idi Amin is a dick.
wow.
You know, trying to say he definitely was not the nicest person in African history. You know, like. Wait,
well,
but how do you get out of Kenya?
No, because he had factors in Uganda. So
Oh,
he
interesting.
Uganda. Like,
Oh, so he chose to leave
that
Kenya.
makes sense, that makes
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
they're
Yeah.
back and forth like Kenya, Uganda.
Honestly, it's hilarious. No, it's not. The African history from this Eastern African history from the 60s to like the 2000s is very sucked up. It was very much so part of the Cold War. Correct. It was not
It's so
like.
low key. They didn't know they were coming after my people. They're like, fucking putting us on like this behind cars, cutting us from here to there. You know.
It goes back to what I'm trying to say though. Like basically, it's like continuously, foreign powers trying to fucking support despots that are going to allow them to have these fucked up economic deals that give them resources, right? And it happens time and time again. And that's why I fucking hate certain countries because I'm like, yo, you put people in power that are straight up like not just like murderers, like
He ate babies.
Idi Amin literally like.
Who's eating babies?
Idi Amin, and I use this word like I use this
He
word
was
purposely.
superstitious.
No, I use this word purposely when I say this. Idi Amin was retarded. I'm not fucking. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not
You mean
joking.
it literally. You mean
No,
it
I'm
shit.
saying, yo, if you saw Idi
Like
Amin
us.
right now, he would be one of these homeless idiots on the fucking street, bro. They fucking paid that guy to run a whole fucking country to allow genocides to occur. Just so they could have access to fucking resources. And I want you to understand that's the level of evil these fuckers do. They purposely pick fucking idiots. Fucking like goons. Like I was saying earlier
Did you
today.
say the same about Robert Mugabe?
Yes,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
They pick the word. No.
Do you know what my favorite guy is? My favorite guy is fucking Zaire.
Let me just finish this.
Mobutu Sese Seko.
I just want to finish this. As an African, that's why we have zero respect for the UN.
Yeah, okay, I
We
get
have
it.
zero respect for the WHO.
Yeah.
We have zero respect for the IMF. All of these motherfuckers that came in here purporting the worst people that did the worst things to us, bro.
Yeah.
The worst fucking shit.
Yeah.
Then these motherfuckers want to turn around and talk about fucking liberalism, how much they're helping the lower man. Suck my African dick, bro. Honest to God, I got no time for none of your shit.
Yeah, well said,
Yo,
right.
from now to this date, I hear anything from one of these fucking NGOs. Yo, fuck you with an AIDS dick.
Oh. Oh my god. On camera.
Yeah. Straight up, bro.
Yeah, this week's podcast is way more crazy than last week's podcast. Last podcast was
No, I
like
hear
fucking.
you, man.
Last week's podcast was tame. Last week we were being scared last week to say some crazy shit on camera.
Yeah, I just don't want to hear anything from the World Health Organization where they fucking literally allow the AIDS crisis to proliferate in Kenya. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
they brought,
it's very sad, it's
they
very
brought Aga Khan in to fucking fuck us over financially. They made us fucking
God,
use
fucking
IMF
Aga
loans
Khan,
to get
Jesus.
bullshit fucking like AIDS vaccines that didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
They can go fuck themselves in an AIDS dick. Fuck them. That just straight up. All of them. I'll fuck them all. You know, so anyhow, this is my perspective as a Kenyan, but whatever. Anecdotally, in my opinion.
Barn rip.
No, I hear you. The HIV rates
And that
are
was
so
a barn
high,
rip.
man. No, I understand, man. Like in fucking
Big up DJ playing
Zambia,
this.
in fucking
Big up.
Zambia, 15% of adults have HIV. In fucking South Africa, it's like 12%. Dude, it's so high, man. Dude, Lesotho, I know it's a small country within South Africa, but they do 25% of adults have HIV. 25, 1 in 4.
No,
Dude, these numbers are staggering, man.
No, and that's
Dude,
what-
HIV is an ongoing epidemic ever since the 80s. Still happening.
So
No,
that's-
but you know what's crazy? Moderna might. So I actually think Moderna might be the most successful, potentially successful pharmaceutical company of our century.
Oh shit.
Here's why I think this. COVID vaccine, novel mRNA. The second thing, they passed phase 1 trials apparently for an HIV vaccine.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Moderna.
third, recently last week, Moderna stock went up 25% because they passed phase 2 trials of fucking cancer vaccine.
They have a cancer
They have a fucking
vaccine?
cancer vaccine.
I want that shit.
Yo, isn't this
Give me that-
crazy?
Give me that
Isn't this
fucking
fucking
vaccine.
crazy? Moderna might actually be the
No,
most
wait, no.
successful.
How can you have a cancer vaccine?
I don't know oncology.
No,
but I'm gonna look it up.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
That makes
hold
no
on.
fucking sense.
I'm not fucking know.
That's bullshit marketing.
No, I don't. I'm no expert. I'm just saying.
Yo, buy the stock.
Cancer is caused by lifestyle. You can't call you cannot create.
No, it's all genetic.
No, but
There's evidence of genetic
sure,
factors.
you can have like a more.
Yo, man, AIDS is caused by lifestyle.
You can have a
I'm just
sensitivity.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay.
You can have.
I'm getting shit percent on the camera.
You can have a sensitivity to certain cancers for sure, but
AIDS is
Well, neither of us are fucking medical experts.
okay, no,
Yeah, I know.
I know for a fact as an investor.
Whoa, you
So you don't shit.
Vaccine
I got
cancer is
No,
bullshit.
you guys need to go to camera.
That's the crazy shit.
These guys are shit.
I believe so. The stock is gonna go up. Yeah.
Just like giving a Larry Gomes, like, oh, I've been even empty.
No,
Shilling that cancer.
Yo,
No, I hear what you're saying, but like I'm not an expert. I just tell you, look it up. It's mainstream news. It's in Reuters. It's in fucking finance. It's in New York Times. Look it up.
I don't buy it.
Phase two. Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't know. I'm saying they did it. They claim to get some non-trivial efficacy. It's exciting. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah.
I can't. No, legit.
Oh, these guys are.
I'll cut your boss in here when it's done.
Yeah. Yo, it was great meeting you guys.
Oh, great meeting you guys. Thanks for stopping by.
I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah,
That's big on the podcast.
Alright, take it easy. Yeah.
Good fucking
I'll give
ridiculous.
you a call this weekend.
No, dude.
100%.
I'll be around, cool.
Have a good night.
Yeah, they have vaccines against.
Do look it up, man. Do look it up, dude. Moderna stock, man.
And yo,
I
just
think
like,
I need to
yo, come on,
Have a
man.
good
This
time.
sounds ridiculous.
I know it sounds ridiculous, but you know what? We thought that
I know,
curing
that's
polio
why.
was
That's why the front row tweet was, bro.
Dude, polio was the largest
We're gonna keep
contagious
on
disease
this.
epidemic in
Yeah.
the United States
Let me know.
prior to 1955. Dude, hundreds of thousands of kids every single year would get polio. Not necessarily extreme polio, but they would get polio. They could be paralyzed, they could have all sorts of issues. And then Jonas Salk came and says, I actually have a fucking vaccine. He fucking made the vaccine. Rest is history. But we thought for so long cancer cannot be cured. I have no fucking clue, but I'm telling you, Moderna has passed phase 2 trials. Look this shit up. Look this shit
Yo,
up.
but the vac-
I'll show you right now.
The
I'll show
Moderna,
you
the
fucking right now,
Moderna
bitch.
COVID vaccine doesn't even work. So why am I supposed to believe in their fucking
no,
cancer
no,
vaccine? Yo, like nothing they do works, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand. It's and as a guy in marketing, you know, it's just
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying.
if their COVID vaccine
No,
doesn't
the
work.
claim is not that it works. The claim is that there's preliminary evidence that there's phase 2 trials.
But how much bullshit we get with their COVID vaccine when they said, oh yo, no spread. If you get the vaccine, you're not gonna get COVID. You'll be fine. All of this shit.
Well, actually,
Then
no,
everyone-
that's what they said. They actually said it would help with immunity.
No, I tracked it. I know for a fact. They said.
Dude, listen to this. So
specifically-
Moderna's cancer vaccine,
Yeah.
cancer immunotherapy reduced patients' risks of relapse or death by 44%.
Yeah.
In the 150 volunteer study the company said.
Why am I supposed to believe what you're trying to say? Like okay.
No, I understand your skepticism. You're right to be skeptical. I'm not saying you shouldn't be skeptical. I'm just saying there is actually preliminary evidence, which is very interesting. And they're making advances on HIV too, which I think is incredible. If they could
You
do
mean
this,
like
right?
the Moderna company creating cures for different?
Yes, they're trying to make vaccines for major diseases right now. I'm thinking this
This
is
vaccine is no different than like sunscreen, right? When you put it on, it lasts. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You put it on, it lasts for like let's say 12 months. Sunscreen, for example, when you put it on
4 hours,
sunscreen,
6
it lasts for a couple hours,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there's a layer to it.
No, you get a tetanus shot. It doesn't like you know what I'm trying to say when you get like there's very
No,
shots.
actually, how the vaccines work.
There's
Like,
very-
but that's how he's talking about the COVID. He's not talking about vaccines in general.
yeah.
You know, but you was talking about vaccines in general.
No, I'm talking about the COVID
He's
vaccine.
talking about the COVID vaccine.
But but the COVID is but the COVID it doesn't work. Period.
No, I don't agree with that. That's completely
No,
false.
it actually
works.
does.
No,
it
it doesn't,
Yes, it does.
bro.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't work, bro.
Are you an anti-vaxxer? Are you an anti-vaxxer? Are you an anti-vaxxer?
No, it doesn't fucking work, bro.
Are you
Yo, no, I'm not fucking vaccinated. Yo,
Are you vaccinated? Are you vaccinated, bro?
Yo, okay.
No, hold on. We have to be more careful what you mean about work. We'll claim what we mean about work.
Okay, listen. It doesn't stop.
Moderna statistics
It
was
doesn't.
70-something
It doesn't stop spread. In fact, if you have it, you're
But
more
that's
likely
not
to
the claim.
spread.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
You're more likely to spread with. You're more likely to spread with vaccine.
No, it's about protecting yourself.
You're more likely to die with a vaccine from COVID.
No, that's misinformation.
What are you talking about, bro? The data's out there now.
Right, guys, don't fucking young, bro.
Sorry, I'm
Fucking trigger
no,
ball.
I'm sorry. I'm
Calm
no.
down.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No,
How?
Dude, it's misinformation.
How? Tell me.
Oh, yeah,
You can look up numerous medical. You can look up New England Journal of Medicine. You can look British Medical Journal. You can look up Lancet. You can look up many major. You can look at these. There's no.
The majority
collusion
of
between all
COVID
these.
deaths. Okay, listen.
Where are you getting your data from? Let me ask you this. We have CDC. We have WHO. We have a number of international
I
organizations.
actually reference all the no. You have to. Okay.
No, dude, I did a whole course on COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
we're
saying
an expert at
our
this point.
department actually has a history of
Everyone's an
medicine.
expert now.
We have a
Wow.
historian of medicine that
Yeah.
I was a teaching assistant for.
Okay.
And we discussed this.
So if you get the vaccine, are you more likely to die from COVID or not?
No. You're
What's the point of dude? If no one would get it, if that was the point.
So do you understand what they initially said? The majority of people that died from COVID are people who were not vaccinated. Do you understand that they said that from the beginning of?
I don't know
COVID?
who they is.
Because
I'm
no,
scared.
Who's they?
Yeah, who
is
is
they?
fucking they?
Who is they? Who is they? Who is they?
Like-
Who are you talking about?
there are multiple studies, right, that state that the majority of people that died from COVID are people that were vaccinated.
I've never heard of this. I mean, I thought the prof. We tried to look
If
for
you-
counter studies.
if-
Part of the course was to look for counter studies.
If you cite the sources,
Our course for undergrads was to look at as much a variety of evidence as we could. That was not something we could find. If you could, let me know. I'm very curious. Like, I'm trying to be open-minded.
I'll pull it. Yeah,
I'm very curious.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be now. No, maybe not now. I'll take your point. I'm just saying, like, I did not learn about.
What
I
I'm
don't
trying
think
to
this is
what
right.
I'm trying to
I
say
don't
that
think this is right.
there was such a disingenuous distribution of information on the statistics that were researched, right? So, for example, the first one that I saw was that the majority of people that died from COVID are people that weren't vaccinated. When I actually did the research on how they got like the sources and how they did the stats for that, right, is that essentially they said people that died from the onset of COVID before we even had a vaccine.
Okay.
So obviously, before we had a vaccine, the majority of people that died were unvaccinated because there was no fucking vaccine.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
So what I'm trying to say here is I saw consistently how they would basically misappropriate data, dissemination of data in that format. Do you get what I mean?
Well, they adjusted the data along the way.
Yeah.
As they learned more.
I think that's
Right?
right.
No, they looked at who died with
Yeah.
so who died
because
of COVID.
So there's things I know. There's things I know for a fact. When you get the vaccine, it provides you immunity deficiency, right? So the first 2 weeks, you're more likely to get COVID than someone that's unvaccinated because it gives you an immunity deficiency.
I don't know that. I don't know that's
I know that for a fact.
I did not.
Search it for yourself. Search it for yourself. The first 2 weeks you get an immunity deficiency. That's why they don't consider you vaccinated until after 2 weeks post-vaccination.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that might be. Yeah.
Okay, so you're actually more
That's
likely
plausible.
to get COVID post-vaccine because you're immunodeficient. Because the COVID, so that's the first one. That's the first one. Past that, right? You're actually more likely to spread. That data is actually firmly out there. You are more likely to spread COVID.
You're more likely to. That's a different claim than
you are
saying.
more likely to.
I think you're confusing.
You
your
are
logic.
more likely to spread COVID with a vaccine. Search that for yourself. I guarantee you that that's
No,
correct.
that's not what I
guarantee you that's correct.
Search it right now.
Look for it for yourself, bro. I swear to you, bro.
There's also worse.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at an authoritative, like something like CDC or Johns Hopkins. Let's find some more authoritative medical institution.
So I am saying I have like a hypochondriac. I've been going through this data, right? The other thing, what was the other one? So the other thing there's no because they don't want to actually the research on this. There's a lot of questions around cardiovascular failure and post vaccination.
Okay.
I mean, there's also a lot of questions before vaccination, hence why they still look into long COVID, right? For the unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Or just typically why we don't vaccinate people until after a fucking disease has been like completed or like an epidemic or whatever, right? Because So, but I will say this as a matter of fact, young athletes and young people under the age of 35 who have been vaccinated have been dying randomly.
From which vaccines?
Okay, no. So
COVID vaccines.
So what's your statement? In the first 2 weeks of getting the vaccination, you're more likely to spread.
Okay, so
Is that the exact statement?
You're more likely to get COVID.
In the first 2 weeks. The exact definition.
The first 2 weeks you're more likely to get COVID.
So
post-vaccination.
Okay, so because of that, are you saying you're more likely to spread?
No.
Because contagiousness, and then you were seeing the virus yourself are two different things.
There was another separate data set, and I'm going to say it's not exclusive to the first 2 weeks, that said if you get the vaccine, you're actually more likely to spread.
Okay, so there's one NBC News right here. Vaccinated people are less likely to spread COVID. I could probably maybe 150.
I need you to go on Google Scholar. I don't want to see NBC News. I want to see the actual site.
Okay, you want to do Nature Doctor? You want to do CDC? CDC right here. So are you saying the government is not credible? CDC, dude.
You need to listen to what I said, bro. Okay, so the way they decided to communicate the data that they were able to collect was extremely disingenuous. For example, like I said in the beginning here, they would say things like the majority of people who died from COVID are people that were unvaccinated. Then they would reference a data set essentially that would be from people that existed and died from COVID prior to the fucking vaccine existing. I have seen dissemination, right? Of data communicated in that disingenuous way multiple times. When you actually reference the data sets, when you actually read the source data, that's why I'm trying to say don't read NBC, go read I have read 700 fucking pages of a fucking Pfizer report, bro. I have read, you don't understand how many fucking I've gone through this shit. For example, and did you know that in the Pfizer study, they did not do pregnant women from ages 18 to 35? Did you know for the human studies? Did you know they also did not reference black men?
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know? So like they completely. And did you know? Also, no. Wait.
Less likely to
Let me
take
finish.
vaccine.
Let me finish. here.
Yeah, that's actually part of the
Listen,
sample
yeah,
bias issue too.
they also did uncommon things, like for example they would say, hey, for this study that included 50,000 people, right? But they would do fucked up things in this study where they'd be like, oh, it was 10,000 from Idaho, it was 30,000 from Ireland, it was and then they say this is put it all in one together. That doesn't ever happen. They also use a lower analogous in the initial animal studies, a lower monkey for like that's as an analogous subject for humans. I think instead of
they have surrogates.
there's so I'm telling you, I fucking
This is
I
common.
read the.
I don't agree any of this is uncommon.
Yeah.
No.
If you randomly sample from multiple states,
Okay.
that's totally fine. That's common use in random
When
sampling.
when you create a mandatory vaccine, I expect perfection in your fucking development of it.
Well, that's a completely different claim.
Dude,
That's
we're
a completely- that's a
Dude, we're not
political
gonna
claim.
talk.
Dude,
Dude,
that's a
we're
different
not
than science.
gonna get that. There was no
They were-
time for that. We're not gonna get that.
They were given no bid,
Yeah.
right? No liability contracts.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
able.
yeah, but hold on.
They're blank checks.
No, I
You
know
can
that.
get the.
Yo, you need to calm
Sorry.
down.
Yo,
You're
wait,
not
chill the
acting
fuck, chill.
on that.
Relax,
You
bro.
realize the point. You realize to get to this point, it's literally decades and centuries of scientific progress and technological
Yeah,
innovation. Did not just pull us out of their ass. It'd be saying like, oh, let's create a new math equation
Yeah,
for
no, exactly.
What do you mean? No,
this. No, literally,
Yeah.
to get to this point in society,
Yeah.
you built on previous efforts in
Well, hold on,
science.
so
like
another
literally,
thing
that's how
too,
we get to
about
progress,
the
right?
legal point, you're right, but did you know that that's been the case for the past 40 years? It was under Ronald Reagan that vaccine companies had legal immunity. So that's not a new thing. People, I've heard this point talked about a lot. Don't get me wrong. You can contest the legislation, but it's not new. It's actually old. It's actually 40 years old. So when people say, "Oh my God, now Pfizer can't be sued, Moderna can't be," none of these companies, not even for the hepatitis B shot, could you fucking sue them for the past 40 years.
And I totally get
so
that.
like,
And I-
you know what I'm saying? So like, okay, don't get me wrong. I mean, that can still be a potential issue, but I'm just saying there's also a reason for it. Because there are some contagious diseases that are so net negative that it's actually important that we protect these companies so that they can actually have the amount of capital investors get that money, so that you have good scientific research, so that you can actually administer these.
So I have two rebuttals.
Yeah, no, it's
actually not a bad system. It's
What
not a
it
bad
comes down to is, what would happen if we didn't do the vaccine?
Exactly.
What would happen?
It would be
We'd
really
have
bad.
way more deaths,
It'd be
bro.
way more deaths.
It'd be way, the economy would be way more fucked up.
Not true.
What?
Not true. Look at Sweden's
That's
data.
true.
Look at Sweden's
No,
data.
Sweden's actually not a good example.
Look at the data.
Sweden's
What are you
actually-
talking
Sweden's not a good
See?
example.
Why?
Because that data, the data set, because that changed over
Look
the
at
course of
Africa's
the
data
pandemic.
then.
It
Look
changed
at Africa's
over-
data then.
But they have a sample issue. They can't.
There's
They're
not-
not
there's
doing enough testing.
There's
They're
not
not
testing.
doing enough testing.
They're
There was
not
no, those, okay, what I'm trying to say here, in areas that were not vaccinated, you do not see like the deaths that were prescribed in the models.
Well, that's because there's no test. There's not
Yeah,
sufficient
and with
testing.
all due respect, Africa's data is as accurate as Thailand's
Yeah.
and Southeast Asia, which is not accurate at all. It's like
Yeah.
That's in my opinion. In my opinion, this is how I would say, it. And like I'm not saying like you are, but I'm just trying to, because I've heard that before. That's a racist argument. To say
No, it's literally-
when people say okay, well, Africa didn't experience as many deaths as we're probably.
Well, no, it's because
No, that's not-
vaccine.
No, that's not what we're saying.
That's not what we're
It's
saying. We're not saying-
a collection of data.
We're saying we're probably
It's
underestimating.
the quality. It's the sophistication.
I'm saying as
I'm
saying as an African, as a Kenyan,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
I lived through the AIDS crisis,
Yeah.
and I, as a child, experienced so much death that it was I didn't even think it was an issue.
No, I think you completely
No,
missed our point.
let me finish what I'm trying to say.
No, let us finish
No,
our
no, no,
point
no,
so
no,
you
no,
don't
no,
get
no, no,
confused.
no, no, no.
Because what we're saying
I
is
need you to
we're-
understand what I'm trying to say here. I lived through the AIDS crisis.
We're not
That's
denying
not
that.
relevant. That's not relevant.
We're not denying that.
Let me finish what I'm trying to say here. Let me finish what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I lived through the AIDS crisis. There was so much death,
Yeah.
right, that it became common to me. I saw the COVID crisis. It was not the AIDS crisis. We did not die to the same extent.
Yeah,
I
of course
know this
we're
for a
not.
fact.
No one's saying that. No one's saying that. It was,
But that's how it was sold to us as to why everyone then
it
should
wasn't.
be getting this vaccine.
It wasn't sold to me. They didn't. No one said to me if you don't get the COVID vaccine, it's gonna be as bad as AIDS. No one said that to me, bro.
That's-
Justin Trudeau didn't say that.
they said
I don't
it's
think
a
anyone said that,
recommendation.
bro.
It's like, you know,
Yeah.
for better.
That's exactly how it was
society.
sold to Africans. I'm telling you, maybe you guys don't
Well,
understand.
fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how it was sold to
Yeah,
Africans.
yeah, fair
You
enough.
understand?
Well,
That's
like it wasn't sold to me that way.
That's
so
exactly how it was sold to
I
Africans.
didn't get that perspective.
This would be worse than AIDS. You guys are all you guys are
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
die.
yeah, sure,
Like,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
That's bad, that's bad,
if
don't
they
get me
played it
wrong.
on the news, then that's fucking corrupt as
That
fuck,
should
and
be criticized.
incorrect science and very fear mongering.
So okay, and I think what I'm trying, and interesting. I don't want to debate my friends. Because like the thing is like
You can debate us. The whole point of this is to
I respect
debate.
your
The
opinion.
whole point of this is to debate.
because my
Yeah.
qualm
All I
is
ask you to do is just lower your voice.
I
That's all- that's all I
Yeah.
ask.
Yelling shit.
I get the reason why I get passionate about this is
No, you
because
can get passionate, but you can actually do it at a lower volume.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
no,
guys just
no,
not
no,
yell.
no, I agree.
That's totally no. It's totally fine.
I remember Korea. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'll do it a little.
It's all good.
Okay. The reason why I get so passionate about this is it's twofold, because in my opinion it's purely the marketing. And again, I go back to the fact that like I have a high value on media and communication and the messaging that's put out, because I actually do think that's actually what dictates how society operates. And again, I think it's curated. I don't think there's a marketplace for actual like media, right? And my issue specifically during like the whole COVID thing is that honestly at this point now, and I'm a firm believer in saying this, right, is that I truly do believe that the vaccine did not do its marketed job at all. It was a huge financial boon for really bad actors in the pharmaceutical industry. Really bad actors, like bad actors to the point where they're some of them were being hit with some of the largest criminal fines in the history of American criminal history, like fines. Like some of the, right, so like they're getting the largest fines in the history of right.
Okay, but what's the alternative? We don't vaccinate everybody? Is that
Yes.
Do you know how many people would fucking die and how bad the economy would be if we didn't
Yeah,
vaccinate
that would be
everyone,
really
bro?
bad.
It was a disaster before the vaccination.
Personally,
Yeah.
I think the majority of deaths happened during the onset, and we completely mishandled that. And like we mishandled that because we didn't have the information. That's correct.
So how would you have wanted to
because
handle
all
if
of
not a vaccine?
all of us all of
Vaccine's
us
the most obvious thing.
all governments in North America did really poor things. Like for example, put all sick old people into all the same old age home. Well, then they all
They
died.
already lived in the home.
Yeah.
No, but you So I'll say so. LTHs before the pandemic were handled horribly. So even in Ontario, I know for a fact, long-term homes were like handled. It was actually like if you knew the condition of long-term homes prior to 2019, you would have cried.
No, we
You
know.
would you would cry. You would cry.
Yeah,
You would
I
cry.
would say two things to that.
So
I would say first of all,
yeah.
people in general, and not just us or society, I think in general, people overestimate their personal health. They think they're healthy, they're not.
Yeah.
Right? That's a matter of fact.
Sure,
look,
sure.
Look at the data.
Same for myself.
You look at the data, you say, well,
I
hey,
thought I'm sexy.
I don't know.
I
don't know. I saw Adrian at the gym, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This fucking guy is a PhD, smart as fuck. He does like fucking 80 pull-ups at the same time.
No,
This guy
not that many, man, not
This guy's
that
deadlifting his shit, bro. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm trying to say, man.
I like the rowing. I like the rowing one.
so the first point is that
Yeah.
if you look at society, and you can probably say this for many societies across the
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
many regions where maybe they overestimate their health, right? And so the government says, hey, we know our population. We know a good chunk of them probably not healthiest, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take the risk with vaccine to help those who are most vulnerable because they don't know themselves that they're vulnerable, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's a real. I'm sure
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a
that's a
real
good
thought
point,
process. It's like the dude who's 360, who hasn't gotten out, but suddenly thinks he doesn't need the vaccine because I can survive this viral disease. He's the first one to go,
Yeah.
and he often was, right?
Yeah.
No. Yes, he was.
What do you mean? No.
The ones who are already heavy smoker, heavy drinker,
Yeah,
already
yeah.
had
And
comorbidities.
comorbidities.
Already had
But
comorbidities.
I don't think
And people don't know they have comorbidities, but it's like, come on.
No,
look at
no,
you.
no, I don't
You're
think
not
that-
healthy. You
but-
gotta go. And that's what happened.
The only part I disagree with that is that like they thought they could survive. I feel like someone who was doing that knew that they were like very much so like I'll give you.
No, I think no. I
No.
I think there's actually quite a lot who
I'll give you.
I agree with
I'll give you.
overestimated.
I will give you a personal example. I like.
No, I'm sure there are examples. I'm not denying that.
No,
I'm
no.
just saying whether it's the majority.
No, but I will say that I'm just giving you an example because anecdotal. I think this is. I think this example actually is more so a good analogy for the population of people. I knew an older lady. She was retired, and literally all she did all day long, right, was drink wine and smoke cigarettes. She knew.
It's just you're like, hey, we should probably, yes, I'm sure there's obviously capitalism, profit, everything that involved,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
on the side is like, how can I work with a scientist in Korea to like figure this shit out, right? And then how can I share this patent with, the less fortunate nations who don't
No,
have
that didn't
access
happen.
to stuff,
That didn't
right?
happen. That didn't happen. They didn't share the patent at all. They shouldn't patent at all. If this actually, that actually, I'm happy you brought that up because actually that brings to my point. If this is a real crisis, rather than leveraging Africa like you did for every fucking thing you do in fucking history, not you, not I'm saying, trying to say, you would have given the patent for free and allowed African nations to have this vaccine for free. They did not. They said, you motherfuckers are going to take on IMF loans to buy this shit, like they always do. You're going to take on more.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
You're going to take on more
I
debt.
agree, that's super
And one of the major proponents of that was Bill Gates as well too. So honest to God, again, this is why I go back. All my positions honestly start off from being an African, and this is what I'm trying to say. All of these, like my major issue with a lot of the ways all of COVID was handled essentially was what happened in Africa, right? But also, I just have a general, and my bias and where I would say probably a weakness, right? I have a general mistrust for any like para-governmental organizations.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I hear you.
I've never seen.
Yeah, fair. That's totally fair.
I've never seen them operate in a way that's beneficial to the people that they apparently are giving whatever product to. And for my data, for my research, I've actually, again, I will say it again, I read 700, I remember 700, like 707 something pages of Pfizer's fucking report. And there was so much bullshit in it. Like so much bullshit they just completely like glossed over. And they would admit in the report, hey, yeah, this was not exactly the most accurate report for this.
That could be true. You want to look for
that.
a wider data set, not just Pfizer's report. You want to read other studies too. You
Yeah.
want to consult medical professionals, because neither of us are medical
But
professionals.
there was 6 vaccines that essentially were like 6 companies, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it makes more sense instead of reading the company's report to read actually independent scientific researchers who are studying the effects of these vaccines, rather than reading a biased
So
report.
I did that too. So for example,
Yeah, a lot of this is
Dr.
also-
Dr. McCullough was one of the major proponents who was anti-vax for sure, right? But like I read all of his releases, his reports, and they seem to be exactly correct. And there was also Dr. Byron Birtle, right? Who was also one of the professors that you.
I'm more blank.
University of Georgia?
Yeah, no, well, exactly. So like I don't know. I feel like I did a lot of reports on this.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I don't know.
And it seemed my actual decision in it was actually it seemed to me as a black man between the ages of 18 and 25 was actually a higher risk for me, as per the research, to actually take the vaccine.
Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't convince you otherwise.
And that's what I'm trying to like argue my friend. I'm just trying to say like I actually reference the data.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I think
we claim
No,
we
no,
did
no. You're fucked.
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah,
fucked.
you know, the data and like everything is always evolving, right?
It's always evolving, it is.
So unless you're on this the whole time.
I'm totally open to, for example, vaccines being long-term genetic. Like, if that's totally consistent with data too. So I'm totally open to that. But just presently, it's quite effective.
And I do think, you know,
yeah.
we do have to take a more nuanced.
This is weird. Never mind.
Oh, I'll have that. Is that the?
It's all bang
No, I think it's actually leaking. Never mind.
Put it in the cup.
Okay.
And so I think we do have to take a more nuanced approach because there are things that obviously affect the effectiveness of the vaccine. There are social-economic factors. There's obviously geography, climate, etc. Right? So yeah, maybe we should take a wider look at this. Maybe we got a more nuanced look.
I don't know. Does it taste like idiot?
I'm just trying to say my only thing is like if you're gonna make a
Is that fucked up?
Oh, the fuck is this?
and that's what I'm saying. I'm willing to die on this hill at this point in my life. Yo, if you're willing to prescribe a fucking mandatory vaccine that everybody has to get, that shit has to be perfect. You're gonna offer blank checks. Your research needs to be fucking tight. You need to publicize it to everybody.
But what about in a case like COVID where it happened fast?
No, what about in an emergency where if you don't do it, people are gonna die? Like, so it's like I understand. I want the same thing. I want the same thing, but like it's not like
Just from the practicality.
the
people
scheduling
die.
of that.
So what I'm trying to say, I'm looking from a very realistic perspective already, right? What I'm trying to say here is that like by the time they created, and here's the thing, the actual COVID vaccine exists. Moderna's COVID vaccine that everyone else copied existed prior to COVID. I don't know if you guys
No, they
know
did
that,
not
right?
copy. It's mRNA. It's a distinct
No,
technology from AstraZeneca.
It's
actually distinct.
What's the new one?
New. I'm talking about the Moderna one. That one existed prior to 2019.
Oh, that's correct. But okay, that's a different claim than what you said earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
So yeah, we agree with that. Of course, yes, that's correct.
specifically-
That's
Well,
correct.
because people and vaccines, I think viruses exist. They do this why science, like they fund this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
this stuff happens
I'm just trying to say, so you sort of have like an existing product that may not exactly fit the best case scenario of what's happening right now. Well, you choose to push that exactly, and you push it to everybody. And I'm saying this as an empathized individual. Then you must have been fully cognizant of the negative effects that would have probably occurred to all the population that you didn't study on, which are the blacks, the poor, the pregnants, the women, all those fucking people. You decided to say, hey, you people, you can die. Because you know what? We can fucking prescribe this right now. That's the equation they decided to say. And that's my issue constantly in politics.
Oh, okay, I hear you.
But on their side, it's like, do you want 10 people to die, or do you want 10 million?
Well, no, but they said,
That's the real question they probably
they said, they said the women, the blacks,
I've never had this.
they said the women, the blacks, everyone that we do the research, they can die. We don't give a fuck about them. We don't give a fuck about them. You can die.
I say,
You didn't research them. You didn't research them. You didn't research them. You didn't research.
Hold on. There's actually part of a reason.
You
for
didn't
it.
research them.
Some of these people did not volunteer for the study.
Yeah.
There's already because this is
Why
actually
would they?
this is assuming your premise. This is exactly assuming your premise.
Yeah.
So I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying part of the reason is again because they felt discriminated, so they didn't feel like they wanted to be participants in the study.
Are
That
they
means there's a
in any
data
crisis?
Because of little things that
It's like you know there's going to be
No, I understand. I agree with
crisis,
you, but I'm just
in
saying
terms of the idea that like
But that's
like,
what I'm saying. This is an argument against what you're saying.
This is literally what warfare is, right? It's like in any environment,
warfare with who?
Dude, you
The
know.
virus, it's a biological attack on our species. You know what it comes down to? There's risk and not taking enough risk. So it's what is it? It's like, okay, we know, let's say 1% of people die taking this vaccine, but if we don't, let's say the vaccine was like on the AIDS level, where people are just dying. No, faster than AIDS. Let's say it was like Ebola, some crazy, a disease will kill you in a month. Flesh-eating disease. That shit will kill you in 30 days.
I think AIDS is the best example, to be honest, man.
It is the best example, but I'm just hypothetically speaking.
AIDS kill people so fucking aggressively.
But hold on, AIDS also doesn't spread through aerosols.
Yes,
so it's actually not.
It's sexually transmitted, bro.
The reproduction numbers are much
AIDS
lower.
killed so many.
We know that.
We're not denying that.
We're not denying that, but COVID's way more contagious.
Yes.
I don't think you realize. I mean, you guys have to realize how it's not even just like. Okay,
I know
it's not even just like
Well-
locally down Toronto. Like the fact that it's airborne, it literally went from Toronto to Vancouver to Montreal. Like
One Chinese guy on a plane brought it over and fucked everything up.
literally, it's like okay, it's almost unfathomable because you're like, how long did it stay in the plane? How many went on the plane?
It's crazy.
Like, it's like
wild.
it's actually
Yeah,
just
of course, man.
wow.
Of course it's wild, dude.
Yes, I'm not saying AIDS
Dude,
is not
it's a work of art.
Yeah,
Man.
it's actually
a work of art.
I'm not saying AIDS is not contagious, whatever, but the fact that like it literally swept over the world, airborne swept over the
It has
world.
a very high basic reproduction number. Yeah.
And at this, and if you look at the rate of cases, the exponential curve was happening very, very quickly. Hence, exponential. Like across the world. One thing to say, okay, you know what? Couple hundred people in China, couple hundred people in Chinese mall, couple hundred people in a Chinese building, couple hundred people in like literally like bam, like and times 182 countries. Like if you're in that position, and obviously we're not. We're not in the position.
I'll even slow down and say this. I would have even been more open to taking the vaccine if they were just.
Sir, can you stop saying the vaccine? There's multiple vaccines.
The COVID vaccine.
Sure.
No, I'm not meaning COVID vaccine. But actually, they're quite distinct. Like the statistics for some of them. Like for example, I understand skepticism.
I would have been open to taking any one of the COVID vaccines.
Okay, sure.
What I say. Okay. I would have been open to taking any one of the COVID vaccines.
Because like some people are rightly critical of AstraZeneca because the average treatment effect is much.
Dude, I have all three. I took Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca. I have all three, bro.
You're like a fucking zombie.
I'm fine. I went traveling. I'm fine. I went to Turkey that fucking year, bro. I'm fucking good.
AstraZeneca actually had the scariest results.
Yes, it did.
Horrible.
Yes, it did.
So
fucking guinea pigs. I took that shit anyway.
So Pfizer and Moderna.
Fucking lost my fucking point here too. Shit.
You would have been more open to the vaccine. Right?
Oh yeah, I would have been more open to taking the vaccine if at the very least, they admitted it escaped from a fucking lab.
Oh man, so you're really? I don't think you can make that claim, man.
You
can't make that claim
okay,
because actually no one can make a claim either way.
Yeah, you're entitled to make that decision for yourself. But for me, like I couldn't get enough data on.
What do you mean, bro?
I couldn't get enough data if the fucking Chinese government engineered this shit or not to make them.
I'm not saying that.
It didn't influence my decision in the vaccine.
I don't even think the Chinese government engineered it at all.
I don't think they would either, man. It's so bad for their economy.
I know for a fact that the CDC was working on it, and then when the Obama government came in, they said we don't want to do this anymore. So essentially, what happens is they actually created another entity, spun it up, and they actually and basically threw over in China to do the research over there, right?
It's called gain of function.
It had nothing to do with Chinese government. They basically, it was an opportunity how all commerce
But hold on,
was
this
to
is,
China.
none of this is conclusive though. what you're saying.
No. What do you mean, bro? Well,
Relax.
No, dude, you actually need to calm down. Okay, just,
Relax.
man, you gotta calm down.
no,
you gotta calm down.
no. But
I think-
No, because you're actually missing the point.
No, but Obama-
because what you just said is
Obama-
correct.
Yeah.
But the next step, which you're gonna make, is not. You cannot make.
What do you mean?
You cannot say conclusively to escape from the lab. You can't say that.
How?
How can no? The onus is on you to show us that you,
You have
can't.
to you have to prove that.
You have to
because
prove
we don't
that.
have enough data to
No,
prove that.
no major scientific body can currently.
Yeah, we can't prove that.
I'm not saying. Hold on. You have to understand the
You're allowed to believe that.
You have to believe
But if you want to convince us, you have to prove
But
it.
you have to-
Yeah,
but
you're allowed to
you're
believe
not
it.
gonna
There are less than 9 level 4 labs globally that exist.
No,
in
but
the
that's
world.
not evidence of anything. Though.
There are
Okay,
less than 9
okay, yes, keep going.
There are
Sure,
nine-
yes, keep
there are
going.
Less than 9 level 4 global. Less than 9
Four.
level 4.
What you meant is less than 4 level 9. Yes.
No. There are less than 9 level 4.
Okay.
One of them happens to be in Wuhan, China.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, yes.
The one that was literally responsible for handling the same genome of virus that was being researched at a CDC lab. I forget if it was either in it was either the Texas one or the one in Charleston. That got moved over to that lab that got released, right? The exact same one, right? That caused COVID. You gotta try and so let me rephrase that.
I mean, it's also a lab in like
there's less
Saskatchewan too. Like,
yes, exactly. You're right. And there's actually I'm happy you brought that up because there's actually a story about information illicitly being taken from that lab to the lab in Wuhan. That's another thing in itself. But what I'm trying to say here, there are less than 9 level 4 labs globally, right? The one that was responsible for transferring the information for the virus that's identical to the COVID virus, right? It was that left the CDC either in Austin or in Charleston, I forget which one it was, to that Wuhan lab, right? That's the area that this shit came out from.
Okay, so what's your point? So they made what they're making in the U.S. and they transported it to Wuhan and they ended up broken
But
Wuhan
this
and
doesn't
then
explain why, if you look at some scientific research on the Wuhan wet markets, that genetically it's closest to there.
Sure, maybe.
And
but
because of the rate of mutation of DNA, you can actually track. It's actually quite.
Maybe.
So what I'm saying is it's not. This is not conclusive, but it's also not conclusive that it came from the wild.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's actually generally open question, but you can talk about the balance of probabilities. I personally would assign as much as 70-80% to from nature, 20-something-ish% to lab. That's the personal. I'm not saying you have to.
No, it's true. Because on the point of the probability, it's like there are literally thousands of wet markets around the world.
There's so many. There's way more wet markets.
Literally the next
Not only that, zoonotic diseases happen all the time.
No, let me talk about let me talk about this one though. Okay, so the idea of a virus going from from an animal to a human is actually very rare.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's true.
So
Rare,
no,
but
Not possible.
The virus has to be trained to do that multiple times to learn how to do it.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct.
It's more likely.
That's not correct.
It's more likely.
I agree with that.
It's way more likely.
I agree with that.
It's way more likely that a virus that's identical to one that was researched in the U.S. and brought over to Wuhan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Was the one that made the leap to humans because it was trained to do so, right? Rather than some random one out of nowhere making the most,
I hear what you're saying.
making the most
but you have to,
small probability.
If you want to get technical about it, right? Think about what you're saying. So suppose you have 2 probabilities you have to assign.
Yeah.
The first is the probability of it coming from the lab. So by which I mean the Texas or other lab. So let's suppose it's highly likely.
Highly likely, yeah.
Okay, and then the next part is the low probability from coming from from any COVID virus to that of a human, right?
Well, no, I think
I'm not saying extremely low. I'm saying low.
I say high. I say high because the reason why it left from the U.S. lab to the Wuhan lab is because gain of function is no longer legal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Whereas you have all these wet markets and you have the rest of nature, literally the rest of everything outside of
Yeah, I don't think you can comprehend that, right?
Like, it's just fucking
I
massive.
don't think you can comprehend that, man. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, one lab, one street vendor in Thailand, the Philippines. Literally, just like, you can't comprehend, like,
do you guys
and
understand
times that
what
by,
you're
like,
saying?
We understand what you're saying,
South
but you have to understand
Africa,
you don't have to agree with you.
Like, you don't
I'm
have to
saying
agree.
there's an advanced.
We're not asking you
one
to
of the
agree
most
with us.
advanced labs
No, I understand what
on
you're saying.
on the world. There's 9.
No,
of them.
I understand what you're
There's
saying.
9 of
Trust
them.
me, I understand what you're saying.
Or just
We're
random.
just not agreeing with
But
you.
no, but you see,
No, I get that. Yes, there's 9 labs. But there's literally
likelihood of
9 million wet markets
So-
or like
so-
potential for nature to interact with humans.
Yeah.
Okay, you get the street vendor in Thailand, street vendor in Africa,
Yeah,
whatever.
so-
Literally,
yeah.
it's like
Because
that's
actually
happening
the math.
every second, every hour. Right
So
now.
let's just
somebody
break down-
literally
let's just break
ordering
down-
something off of
let's
street
just
market
don't-
in the
You know
Philippines,
what he's saying.
and
So
there's like
what he's
fucking
saying.
like a bat just coming off, like literally like.
Yeah.
Come
So,
on.
No, so let's just break down the likelihood here. You have a scenario.
we just did.
You have the scenario
Yeah.
where you have a lab
Yes.
that is literally designed to do
Gain of function
practices
research.
that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
illegal, right, to create weapons.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal.
It's in the States.
No, I don't think it's illegal.
In the States.
Well, it's not-
I don't
it's
think
not
that. I
illegal.
don't think
To research viruses.
Listen,
It's not illegal.
listen,
No,
listen,
that's definitely
listen.
to create a bioweapon is illegal, but
Listen,
to create,
bioweapon, yes,
that's
but-
definitely illegal.
But
Listen,
the researchers,
what-
their
what-
job.
what
Their
else-
jobs is like
They're trying to save lives.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say here is Obama administration puts gain of function out of the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a lab that is literally designed to create something like the COVID virus,
Yeah.
right? That's one probability.
Yeah.
Or nature, literally in absolute moonshot.
It's
of
not
a
a
scenario.
moonshot.
It's not a
That's
moonshot,
not
bro.
disagree.
It is a moon.
We're
No, no, no.
completely disagreeing.
It is a moonshot
Dude,
because
take
it's
yourself
not.
out of an urban environment right now.
There is no other
There's
disease.
one Toronto, and there's a million other countries or cities where
So
there's somebody
so-
on the street
so-
stall
so-
right
so-
now.
so-
Yeah.
So wait, no,
Try
no,
to
no,
get a bat.
no, no, no,
Try to
so-
get the bat and the penguin in the
wait,
same meal.
wait, no. So do you know about this corrosive disease that's hitting the deer population in North
No,
America?
I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a corrosive disease that hasn't spread to humans.
There's a lot of diseases in animals that will spread.
No,
to
no.
It's the ones that do that are really scary.
It's the ones that do.
It's the ones that do that fuck with us.
And the probability of like,
No. I'm sorry. I'm not. There's one very significant. We need a Jamie or something like that. There's one significant corrosive disease that's affecting like the
But
Why
Yeah.
would it have to
Okay,
affect
okay,
us? What
because
genetic
people
marker?
are very worried about it transferring.
But that
to
doesn't
humans.
follow biologically necessarily.
No,
There could be
but okay,
diseases that hit certain species.
So what
more than others.
I'm trying to say
It's
is
actually not
what
necessarily.
I'm trying
connection.
what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of diseases that potentially could affect humans, right?
How do you know that?
So-
Actually, how do you know that? I actually don't agree that you would even know that.
I know that because I follow the hunting.
No. I'm saying it's not clear. No. Well, my claim is more specific. I'm saying you don't know that this particular disease hitting deers has a similar biological mechanism that would necessarily infect humans. That's all I'm saying. So I understand intuitively you might think it would because it's this thing's like
Well,
live
no,
animal
no,
that's being
no,
destroyed
no,
by
no,
disease.
it would
But
ha-
it depends.
no,
Our
no.
genomes might not be similar.
No,
Our
no,
nervous systems might
no, no,
other
similar,
things
no,
that can be-
similar to the no. Okay, that's what the same thing. You had to develop the ability to get into humans. That's what I'm trying to say.
But that can happen in nature.
No, but it has to develop the ability to do so. But
That's not that. I don't agree that's that difficult.
no, I'm
have
saying.
you seen our planet or our universe?
Yeah.
Like you should watch on Netflix, man.
It's the same with
happens in
evolution.
nature,
Evolution
bro.
happens all the
Like,
time.
Have you
shit
talked to
happens in
genealogists,
nature,
man? Have you talked to
Of course,
genealogists?
dude. I was part of a COVID study at the fucking U of T medical hospital. I also taught a fucking course on this, man. Dude,
Yeah.
trust me, I've thought about this.
Adrian's like the hardest person
I
to
actually
debate.
thought about this
This guy's literally like a subject matter expert at a PhD level. He's a very hard person to debate.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I think this is an important point, though.
Yeah,
We're not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, we're just saying we just disagree because we have different kinds of prior probabilities that we're assigning to certain data sets.
Like,
And we're not saying you're irrational. I'm not even saying you're
yeah,
irrational.
no,
I'm saying I totally get
like
it.
you're
I'm
like,
just saying understand that we
yeah.
can actually this is an interesting case because there can be two different sides that look at the same potentially same data set
Yeah.
and yet come to different conclusions.
I
I think
agree,
this
yeah.
this might be one of those
And
cases.
again,
And I think also to Eric's point earlier is like
Yeah.
when you're in like the war room, you've got to make decisions. We're obviously armchair fucking.
Yeah, we're just armchair
here. Like, and we can't decide. Okay,
Fucking peanut gallery.
yeah, I can't decide whether I'm gonna short or long the fucking vaccine.
Yeah.
But
Well, no.
somebody in that room obviously had to decide. Yo,
Yeah,
what's the risk here?
I
And like,
Yeah.
and somebody had to make hard decisions. And I don't think you would have been able to
I'm
make that
happy.
hard
No,
decision.
I'm happy you brought that up because let's double down on that. In
Yeah.
the war room, the decisions that were made, things that actually were horrible, really bad decisions that
No,
were made.
they were
Let me
made
finish here. Let me finish. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm a dick. I love you.
Yeah,
guys.
just
I-
it's okay. It's okay.
I love you guys. Yo, okay, but for example, the lockdowns were the worst decision anybody could have
Oh, okay,
fucking
hold on.
They were.
They were the stupidest decision. They were actually
I don't
no.
agree with
They
that.
were
Okay,
idiotic.
They were poorly managed.
No,
Not necessary.
I-
They were poorly managed.
I mean,
not
honest-
necessary.
I agree.
They're very poorly managed. I agree with you. No one
no.
disagrees with that,
No,
bro.
I'm being harsh with it, bro. I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you're gonna be harsh with it, understand that if we disagree, then we're not disrespecting.
Okay.
That's it.
No,
Because that's getting the point.
That's where we're
no, I
boys.
need to say
That's
this,
where we're
it's
boys.
getting the point.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
getting a little
Yeah,
like
yeah,
overzealous about this.
yeah.
And well, there's
That's
also
fine.
there's nuance
But
to
like,
that.
just there's nuance, yeah.
Some people can say, well, yes, they're poorly managed, and I would say yes, they were poorly managed because whoever was enforcing lockdowns here didn't actually follow protocol, didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Like, were they better in China? Probably. Were they better? I don't know. In
South Korea,
in
very
South
effective,
Korea,
very effective. South
more
Korea.
effective.
Japan
right?
is super
When
effective.
Management was better.
when you have infrastructure in place to do contact tracing, here you go to a restaurant, they're like, write down your name on the fucking
Yeah,
piece of
that's
paper.
bullshit.
Come on,
Yeah.
people didn't like they did it almost like it was lip service here, right? So they
Yeah.
didn't really lock down,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
do
yeah. I agree. It
contact
wasn't a
service.
proper lockdown
right?
here.
But you
They
go
really
anywhere,
fucked it up here.
you go anywhere else, well, okay, well, you can't even leave your quarters in Japan for
Yeah.
months on end, and you go to China, you can't leave your quarters for a day. So I think you have to look at every place. It's contextual, right? Like
Yeah.
what works in one spot,
I think
not
that's
gonna
right.
work for another spot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe for here, it was never gonna work because people here just whatever. They're
Yeah.
not as obedient or
Well, Canada hasn't dealt with something at this scale before.
Ever. The world hasn't.
It's dealt with smaller scale issues, but yeah, not something as big as
So there's a thing called like.
So I agree. I think lockdowns here were not
very poorly managed, very poorly managed.
yeah, poorly managed.
Yeah, I
No,
think we're all
it's-
they were poorly managed.
No, I'm gonna firmly stand on this because like lockdowns are unrealistic. They're not. They're stupidest thing.
Why are they unrealistic when Japan and South Korea had hardly any COVID deaths?
You just
That's
talk.
very effective.
You just
Singapore.
You just
Singapore
talk.
too, very effective.
You just
very
talked.
effective. Hong Kong.
We just
very
spent.
effective.
We just spent a whole time. We just spent probably before this podcast talking about the uniformity in Japan. The fact that
Yeah.
their whole culture is based on uniformity.
Yeah, sure.
Their whole culture as people is based on the
Oh,
fact
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
expect things.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
So that makes perfect sense to me as to why they would accept like things like from a top-down
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah,
right? And let's talk about South Korea. Probably from the same. I have no idea. I don't know about.
That's fine.
I can't even. Speak, I don't know why about South Korea, right? What I'm trying to say is that like even from like a. So when you're trying, there's something called SMART goals, right? So when you're trying to create a goal, you only have a SMART goal. I forget what it's an abbreviation. It's like
It's like something manageable, accurate, realistic, timed,
yeah. It's yeah, right.
measurable.
It has.
Measurable's number two.
It's realistic. You know what I'm trying to say? The idea of locking down whole societies is whole sweet unrealistic.
No, you have to be more specific. What you meant is
No.
Western specific.
No,
Western societies.
that, yeah, it's whole sweet.
No, it's
Un-
not.
it's
Because look at South
whole-
Korea and look at
No.
Hong Kong.
Okay,
Look
sure.
at- Look at Japan.
No, we get Hong Kong, China, South Korea.
No, I didn't
South
say
Korea.
China. I didn't say China.
No,
I'm talking
Hong Kong.
specifically Japan.
Okay, but Hong Kong
Sure.
under Carrie Lam.
Yeah, but there's a number of things happening there.
Hong Kong
too.
under
There was
Carrie
also
Lam. Right? She's
protests,
persecuted
too.
the protesters. That's when it
No,
happened.
but that's yeah, I know. But
No,
that's,
come
I don't
on,
agree
come on.
that's
No.
I don't agree
You're
that's
not talking about the present thing that happened. Hong Kong
Yeah.
under Carrie Lam, as she's persecuting the protesters, literally putting them in
No, I know,
prisons.
but that's bad time.
That's
I
when
think
that
that's
shit
bad
happens.
timing. I think that's
So-
just bad
so-
timing.
no, no, but they wasn't-
Because you have to remember, they did this in 2003 for
So
SARS.
think
too.
about
they started not the whole city.
No,
No,
they
they
did.
started.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Well,
did, dude. Yes,
well,
they did. Yes, they
yes,
did.
they
He's
did.
right.
And
Yes,
where?
they
It's
did.
South Korea. Where?
No, in SARS 2003 Hong Kong, certain parts of the city were locked down. They isolated and quarantined certain parts of the
Do
city.
I know people who have SARS and they
And did it
never
work?
The-
And
the-
did it
Yes,
work?
yes, it helped to
Dude.
contain SARS.
Hong Kong SARS, they were the guys who invented. It's like our freaking health minister. Our health minister is from Hong Kong.
I forget.
Our health minister is from
Teresa Lam.
Yeah, and she's
Teresa Tam?
she's the one who
I think
she was the one who was advising this one. I don't know, but she was fucking up too. She was fucking up too temporarily, but I think she did a better job towards the end.
No, I think honestly, I feel bad for Teresa Tam because honestly, I feel like she was used as a scapegoat.
That's probably true.
That's probably true.
That's
yeah.
probably true.
Yeah, she ate a lot of shit on that campaign, bro. It's not her fault.
it's not her fault.
You can see in her face she didn't want to be in any of those. fucking
Yeah, of
things.
course.
Yeah.
And who wants to do? No one wants to do that.
She
job.
wanna do any of
It's
that
it's so stressful.
Turns out to be
She
son of
wanted-
a shit, bro.
Again, a lot of these places, you know, you have to look at the context because
Yeah, you're smoking that cigar.
Hit it.
So bad.
Is that chocolate? It's actually not. It's better than
every country is, you know, every country is different, right? It's like
Ready? Tastes amazing. Tastes like chocolate.
probably not necessarily in Canada because our healthcare system
That's
is
a cocoa.
arguably fantastic, or like not the
Better-
worst.
better than like it's a good basement.
Yes. Try doing, you know, free for all in Thailand. You'll be fucking dead by tomorrow, right? Healthcare system's not very good. And so a lot of people are poor.
Is that what she
A lot
said?
of people can't afford it.
Oh,
So
you're funny.
just now they die. That's what happened for the first year. Then they're like, oh, we should probably lock down now, right?
Oh,
She's gotta come back for more.
oh, she's coming back. She's
I don't know
coming
how it was in South America, Africa, whatever, but
So I'm just gonna talk about like Canada. Like, so I'll talk about Canada, right? So in Ontario, right? Specifically in Ontario, deaths disparity exponentially outweighed COVID deaths by 5 times. There were 5 times more deaths of disparity in COVID deaths. So that means overdoses, deaths from alcoholism, deaths from like abuse, things of that nature. 5 times death based on the lockdowns, right? I see you shaking your head, but that's legitimately a stat. Legitimately a stat.
So then the lockdowns cause 5 times the amount of death in COVID.
The lockdowns are the stupidest thing. And at the very least, Ontario politicians could have done. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There was way more deaths that happened as a result of the lockdown.
Not way more.
I live
Literally, they said
you guys live in Toronto. You guys live in Toronto during the lockdown.
Of course we do, we live in bro.
I live in Stony Creek.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see the damage in Stony Creek. You guys didn't see the damage in small town like Canada.
I feel like in small town Ontario, they're even more like
It was disgusting, bro. You
It was
understand?
even more extreme.
No, because the deaths were from COVID. The deaths were from like disparity, bro. Yo, like the lifestyles these people had to, like families got broken, people lost their fucking livelihoods.
People lost livelihoods here too, man.
No, but like
Yeah.
in small town, like hey, so 2/3 before COVID, 2/3 of Canadian commerce was small business.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people knew this, right?
we already knew that. Small business make up like, I think there's 1.5 million small businesses in Canada.
So what I'm trying to drive down here is like the poor policy decisions, right? And like the lockdowns were literally again the stupidest decision you could have made. And I will give sympathy to the people that made that. I will give sympathy to the people that installed lockdown policies because essentially they were bullied into doing so, in my opinion, by the media. Essentially,
Yo, is that okay?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because essentially, if you didn't follow,
that's crack, man.
if you didn't follow in lockstep, you were villainized, you were criminalized, and more so than that, you were ostracized, and that happened to me. And that's the part that's why I feel a certain way. That's why I feel the way that I do, and I'll always basically stand on these 2 feet because basically it's like the amount of hate, the amount of isolation, the amount of pure bad behavior that I was that I got brought onto me just based on the fact that I was doing my research. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
I have such a strong feeling of I have to be cognizant of I will never trust these institutions ever again. Because the fact that I was getting judged so poorly on the fact that I'm actually doing good research. I'm actually reading 700. You know how hard it is to read 700 pages of a file?
Yeah, I actually do.
It's so hard, bro.
Yeah, but
You know, 400
with due
pages.
respect, you're not a medical expert.
Neither
No.
of you, but
Right?
no,
So,
but-
I mean, I hear your points.
but
I'm not
I-
invalidating.
I'm
I'm just saying you
actually-
should have less confidence in the.
No, man, because I'm reading it. I can understand data. I'm not an idiot, bro. My education is based on
How much stats did you really take?
my whole.
Yeah, you're not
That's what I'm saying.
this guy
I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying, I would just be less confident. It's
yeah.
quite technical.
The
Yeah,
only
so
technical.
I don't claim I
Do
can.
you know the
I'm an
definition of a
educated.
p-value, man? Do you know the
No,
definition of
I'm-
average treatment effect?
I know
All
bachelor's
these
degree.
things?
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not confident. I'm not confident. I'm smarter than the health minister.
It's actually-
Or I'm not. I'm personally not confident.
Yeah,
I'm
I would not say you're.
I'm not. The health minister's a doctor. I'm not saying they're a genius.
I'm not
they're
even
fucking
saying
up
I'm not
sometimes.
confident. I have stats background.
Well, I
Yeah.
also think this whole thing just highlighted
Yeah.
really the differences in cultures, right? It's like
No.
you look at
Yeah.
the East where they're like, yes,
Yeah.
Confucianism, communism, collectivism. Whereas here it's like
I'm-
very much individualism. It's
I'm
like, it's
gonna-
all
no,
about
no,
me,
no.
it's about what I should do for
I'm
me.
gonna
right? It's
stop.
like-
No.
That's actually true. Everyone who I know complained about the lockdown were thinking about them.
Sure.
You go out anywhere in the world, you go out, to countries in Asia where it's less about me, it's about the community. It's about the collective. It's like, how can I help everyone else, right? What's my personal sacrifice that I can make for the community? And I think this is where the divide is. It's like, it was never gonna work here because we're way too individual here, right? We're way too, I gotta go to my job, I gotta go to my girlfriend, my family, whatever. Everyone else, who cares, right? Like,
Well, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, too, in China, man, they're not happy with the protests in fucking China.
they're not now.
They're Confucian about it. They are fed the fuck up. Because at the end of the day, humans are still humans. You take humans away from anything that resembles their natural environment. You put them in their fucking cages. Uber eats all their food.
Well,
and
no,
we're
the thing with
peasant
China
revolt.
though,
Yeah.
it's two-pronged. Is that China itself, since the 1990s, have bought into the CCP. There's always gonna be conflict.
Hey man,
Yes.
hey man. All I'm trying to say is I don't care what children I have to bomb. as long as it's in a Gundam, I'll do it.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
I will.
You never get hired by CSIS ever.
Yeah, it's okay.
Dude, seriously, after you've said that, you're not getting hired.
CSIS will love me for this, bro. I don't care if it's Czechoslovakia, Bahrain, bro, Russia, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'll bomb all the kids, bro.
Oh my God.
If it's in a Gundam, bro, just give it to me. I'm down.
Wow, you're
I will be the one, bro. Yo, no, bro, listen. Do you know how sick Gundams are?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
you do.
the universe in which Gundam, the reason you don't want Gundams to exist is because the universe the level of interplanetary warfare they're experiencing in the Gundam Wing universe is so fucking insane.
That's unreal, though.
At that point in time, I think the reason they have Gundams is because they were trying to colonize the moon and there was some Death Star shit going on, and they're like, well, we better deploy like fucking human-sized tanks.
That's
into
so badass.
space. That's not bad.
That's so badass, bro.
I don't want the fucking moon have a
I'll be Zard.
Relax, bro. You're way too turned on, bro.
It's just because it's late. It's just because it's late.
I'm just so black. I can't get excited.
It's not about being black, bro. It's about being Odie. It's not about being black,
I
bro.
get excited. Yeah, trying to say.
Oh yeah, but you got
I'm saying, we
I'll
are,
be charred. It is in rebellion.
we're like fucking specs, man.
I know we were.
Like, the first time I fucking saw the Great Wall of China, right? And I was just like, somebody fucking made this?
I know, it's
Like, somebody made this centuries ago.
Chinese slaves made that shit.
And it's still holding up, right? And you're like,
It's
what
not.
the
They
fuck?
have to repair temporarily, bro. And the parts of it are destroyed as fuck.
Some parts, yes.
The parts are fucking destroyed,
It's no
bro.
longer functioning. But the fact that you're like,
Those fucking Mongolians, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know
Parts of it are holes in it from being fucking shot. People, you know, I'm dying to that wall.
because I used to think, oh man, anyone in the 1900s or like 1800s were like fucking like monkeys, right? And you're like, yo, some of these people back then, maybe they're actually pretty advanced, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Some of these civilization,
Yeah, a lot of architecture is pretty advanced.
dude.
Yeah.
When I saw fucking Angkor Wat in Cambodia, I'm like,
Yeah, I need to see that, man.
dude, I'm like, no fucking
No,
way.
I know,
You're
yeah.
telling me like the precision on this
Yeah.
fucking thing was made in 900 feet? What?
I just
Yeah,
think
yeah,
what?
Not that precise.
Dude, the fact that you can't even fucking build a city place condo in like, and yet these fucking monkeys in Cambodia
Yeah,
are
it's
building
true.
like a temple with like what, like a sledgehammer?
Hell
I don't
yeah,
know.
hell yeah.
Dude, I'm like,
I
maybe
love-
people back then were not as dumb as I thought.
I love the theory of the pyramids. It's like, well, guys, well, we have two options right now. It's either you see these like super precisely cut rocks. Either like they were done with lasers and like aliens can't. So we have two options. Either maybe there's like some technology or some kind of like craftsmanship technique that we don't really know that ancient Egyptians had, or maybe it's possible that extraterrestrial aliens exist and they came to Earth and they cut these using their lasers. And it's kind of like, what's the probability of either? Because like one, if you pick the aliens option, man, you pretty much have to like. You have to validate that entire claim.
Yeah,
you have to validate. That's a huge,
it's a huge claim.
fucking claim.
Yeah,
It's like, and it's realistically way more fucking improbable. Like, so maybe some aliens came from some aliens exist. Second, they came from a billion miles and they came to Earth and then said, "Hey guys, let's build fucking pyramids. Let's use all the resources we have. Let's cross the motherfucking universe with our fusion reactors
Wait.
to build a fucking rock."
Wait.
5,000 years later.
What about the youngest rise theory? So
Yeah, we were talking about this before.
I
don't know.
So what are you talking about?
So there's a theory essentially that like Earth operates in an asteroid belt or meteor belt that hits like the Earth like every like 1,000 years, right? And the last 1,000 years, essentially,
There's like Halley's Comet, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
It's
So
1640 something.
So
like,
the idea of
there's comets hitting us
Yeah.
semi-frequently.
the idea of it,
It goes around.
the idea of it basically is that like it hit Earth, it actually wiped out previous civilization. We had to like come back. To dominance.
Man.
So the evidence of that are things like why am I forgetting the name? Egypt.
Atlantis.
No, Egypt. The lion. The fucking
Sphinx?
Sphinx. Yeah. So the body of the Sphinx is older than the head. So,
That's right.
So
that's
they
right.
actually
I think that's right. Yeah.
they recreated the head onto the body of the Sphinx.
Yeah, that's impressive.
The Sphinx is
It's pretty
much
impressive.
older than the body, so they're saying that basically the Sphinx is actually dated at an older civilization than the Egyptians. So they actually found it and then they rebuilt it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah.
It's a possibility.
And there's a
It's
couple,
certainly a possibility.
there's a couple of other things that basically explain the fact that like those are older civilization of humans. They're able to develop things that we don't understand how they were able to do it.
And they left Earth. It's like, oh, we're done here.
They got fucked up. They got by the meteors. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So hopefully one day we get fucked by meteors. I don't have to worry about shit. Because if a meteor hits us, bro, I'll be so happy, bro. You know what I mean?
Well, it's actually quite fascinating that there's 6 billion apes, and 6 billion of us apes, and in one country there's a German sex techno clubs, and next beside them is like some like dictatorship in Belarus.
That's
whatever,
right, yeah,
The
that's
fact that
pretty
you know
crazy,
you
yeah.
go from like Germany and a flight away to like
That makes sense to me.
fucking
though. No,
Dubai,
that
where you're like
That's
oligarchs just
crazy.
chilling. Like the fact that we're not in like constant war.
I know, dude.
24/7.
But we used to.
We used to be, and we have
Thank
now.
goodness
It's
we're
like,
not. Thank
It was
goodness.
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Imagine being like some like Viking in like
Hey,
1800s where you just like want to pillage. Just,
Hey, now we're just at war with ourselves, bro.
Yeah,
Well, that's true.
We're at cyber warfare,
See,
psychological warfare. It's a
Uh,
sad
So
way.
what about that theory that there's say another planet in the core of
Oh,
the Earth?
Namibia.
That's
Namibia is what's called something
What
like
are you
that.
talking
You're
about?
talking about the
That's too funny,
the
man.
inner,
Yo, I
like
swear,
I've heard this
the
fucking
name
take
for
off.
there's the inner Earth.
Dude, that's a funny theory.
It's like
That's a
the
funny- that's a
core
funny-
of the Earth is not our planet.
So I'm trying to think about how that would work.
My
So
girlfriend's
what-
actually from inner Earth.
from inner Earth.
My girlfriend's from
You're-
inner Earth. Yeah. Her vagina is the size of this door. I'm trying to say, I walk.
That's the best hentai I ever read.
I walk into it. You know what I'm trying to say? Fuck, yeah, that's what it sounds like. I'm like, brah, yo, like, you know what I mean?
Inner Earth is a wild theory. I'm just trying to think why someone would believe this. So what is it? What is it supposed to explain? That's the first question. I don't know.
There's like a subterranean like civilization.
No. But what is it supposed to explain about that we can observe here? Why would someone come to
There's
believe
no
this?
explanation, bro.
Oh, there's no explanation.
I'll be right now. I just think earthquakes and tsunamis that are fucking up people on the surface. If they're fucking, I think like that shit. Tectonic plate shifting that would definitely kill people under the surface.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like way quicker than
Dude, of
anything
course.
works. Like dude, like Fukushima gets fucked. Like if they're living off some kind of like geothermal
It's like,
power.
bro, yeah, it's great.
There's another thing too. How they're surviving? Like, there's like no.
It's really hot. It's really hot.
It's probably really hot. They probably have lack of oxygen. They probably like there's probably so many
they
things
would have to
going
be
wrong.
extremely advanced.
Maybe
Yeah.
everything you think is wrong though.
That's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah. But I don't think inner Earth. Like I'm open to the idea that there could be people below.
What if it's mad
But,
hype?
like I don't think it's really low.
What if it's mad hype down there? You know what I'm trying to
It
say?
could be. It could be.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
walking
possible.
into like a house and there's a basement apartment.
Yeah. Yo, like it's not air, it's weed smoke.
Yo, imagine the food they eat there. Ew.
Oh, pussy.
Probably a lot of fucking slugs.
Probably like what the moles? I don't even know what the hell.
No,
they're called.
y'all are hating. What if it's just hype as fuck, bro? They got like the
Or
mad-
maybe there's a channel for deep sea creatures to go down. They fucking kill them and they
Yeah.
You know what? That's not possible.
There's a
But,
YouTube
but
channel I follow.
the fragility of that's too fragile,
Deep
bro.
sea diving.
Oh yeah.
That shit scares the fuck out of me.
I watch the channel every week. It's the scariest shit ever. Bro.
Yo, so I watch a channel.
Dude, nature's amazing.
I watch a channel that is like the diving disasters. I don't know why I actually watch that channel because I actually realized the other day it's very dark. I should not.
Of course it's dark.
Yeah, but
working in the mines is working in the mines is the punishment in most prison
No.
countries.
This is like diving. So it's a recreational diving disasters. So it's like cave divers.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's like stories of guys who basically
Darwinism.
They get
Don't go to the fucking cave.
the stories of guys who get lost in a cave and they see that they have less oxygen, the ability to get out of the cave, so they stab themselves in the chest.
Yeah, I man.
Because they know they're gonna suffocate. So they're like, yo, fuck that shit. I don't try to suffocate.
Yeah, man. Take the life in your own hands, bro.
Yeah. It's the wildest shit, bro.
This should have been, hey, this is me, no, gas.
Yay!
I'm signing off.
A-Town down.
I'm making the live stream now.
Yo, oh my god, bro.
God, man.
That'd be the worst way. But at the same time, too, it's like, yo, if I were to die in a cave diving accident, I would just blame myself. Because, like, why is OT at the bottom of fucking, like,
Exactly.
the ocean cave?
I actually.
It's not dope. I got my patty and I
I want to get into cave diving myself. I want no, not underwater cave diving, but I want to get this regular cave diving like with ropes and shit. But I'm looking at it. It's fucking gnarly, bro.
Dude, it's actually pretty dope, man.
Oh yeah, that could be dope.
Yeah, we got our license like.
I would imagine Thailand would be good.
Yeah, we had our license like 4 years ago.
The 13,
It's fucking dope, man.
the soccer dude that's still stuck in the Thai cave.
Oh yeah.
You guys,
Oh, it's crazy.
we got our license in what's the fucking
Patty?
Patty off goes to the Philippines. It's great, $100, right?
Oh wow, that's nothing.
But it's fucking like it takes 3 days of training. But it's like, dude, just to like see some of the
That's
shit
pretty nice
underneath,
shit.
some of the stuff underneath the ocean, like it looks so fucking dope, man. You're like,
Yeah.
bro, you're like,
Yeah.
there's a fucking ship that's just like, whose lives are here? Like, what happened here? How long has it been here? It's actually like just the stories of like the ship. It's actually pretty cool.
It was swallowed by the fucking ocean.
Where's the
man.
gold? Where's the treasure?
They're saying before humans conquer space, we need to conquer the ocean first. Because the ocean, first of all, 70% of the water of the planet is fucking ocean. Like, I really do believe global warming, if some bullshit happens, we're gonna become oceanic. But we need a lot of power to do that, and there's floods and tsunamis. Imagine, like, you're living on a boat, and the boat is like, or like a
Yo,
fucking
Peter
cruise
Thiel,
ship.
man.
Hey man,
Yo, Peter Thiel Seasteading Institute.
Of course.
He wants to try to do this. And I think you have to ask yourself basic questions. Where does the energy come from? Could do it through
Wave power.
could do it through wave power, maybe, who knows? But yeah, doing a SWOT analysis, let's say high risk. But you know what? If it comes down to it, we can give it a shot. We can fish. We can definitely do a lot of fishing. But
Microplastics.
you know, I would imagine that the biggest issue there is actually the politics of these boats. Or the politics of these like
Monkey knife fight on the front,
monkey
on
knife
deck
fight
one.
on the
Monkey
fucking, like,
knife fight on deck
massive,
one.
Yeah, on deck one, yeah, fucking humans fighting each
It's
other.
all about international waters where like anything fucking goes. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Waterworld, that was
Yo,
thinking.
that's so funny. Yo, that's so funny,
No,
man.
that
Dude,
fucking
did that
shit's
cost
so
over
gnarly.
$150 million?
No, it was one of the expensive movies of all time
Oh
to
my god,
film.
dude, they spent so much money on that at the time.
I don't know
Yeah.
how I drink cold bottles.
I don't know how you drink that shit out.
Holy fuck, you down the whole
You have,
bottle?
you have
Yeah,
high. I've seen you do maybe like 1.5 of those before. That's a lot of booze, bro.
Hey, Jackson Triggs, can
Yeah.
you sponsor me?
Yeah, they should.
It's
They're from
act-
British Columbia.
Yo,
I've been.
you gotta sponsor
I've
me.
been to the
bro.
vineyard.
Listen, hey, this is Pinot Grigio. The shittiest winery.
The Pinot Gris.
Yeah, Steve Steading.
It's like Waterworld reminds me of that
Yeah, yeah.
film, that road something, where they like lack of water when they're in a desert.
Dune. Dune?
Fury something.
Oh, Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Oh, Mad Max, yeah.
Don't get addicted to the water. The water, like I'm like motherfucker. This shit doesn't hurt. I'm not addicted to this shit. I'm not, you know.
I would just eat pussy.
Oh.
You gotta try to say
To get hydrated.
Yeah.
2 liters of water coming out this pussy.
Well, I've come close to drinking my own piss.
Yo, tell me.
Oh, this is bring up some. There's your sound bite for the week. I can just do my own piss, bro.
Oh, shit, dude.
I was towards the end of a hike,
Yeah.
right?
Second
And
where?
I was towards the end of a hike.
Okay, yeah. Whereabouts?
I just watched Bear Girls on TV, and I heard you can do this.
Where?
bro.
Oh, in France.
Was this recent?
Yeah, recently.
Oh god,
Whoa.
man, god damn it, that's nasty, bro. You're a nasty hoe,
And I was
bro.
like, you know what? I misjudged my
My
water
water.
intake,
Oh,
right?
So I called the girl who BDSMs me and I said, can you fucking borrow some of your penis? Can you rest your pee? Yeah, it's pee on my
Towards,
face.
I didn't know it was towards the end. I just knew that it's already been like 2 days, right? And I'm like, fuck.
You did 2 days without water?
I was on the second day is when I went out of water, but I thought I was gonna finish. I thought the trek was gonna finish on 3 days.
Were you with a group?
No, it was me, man.
She didn't have any water, are there?
Yeah, she finished his water as well.
Oh, you were both fucked then.
Oh, fuck, well,
shit.
You guys, that's dangerous, bro. That's 2 of you.
Usually they give water, no?
So the hikers, we didn't see anybody for hours, right?
Shit.
And so we were like, holy fuck, man. Like, we don't know how close we are to the end. We also knew we'd been walking for, at that point, 6 hours without any water. No streams,
Oh,
literally
man.
no waterfalls.
Oh, man.
We were like, we might have to fucking do it, man.
Well,
We had 2 bottles, 2 of us. Might just have to take turns, bro. This is fucking it.
If I'm drinking my own piss, if you're your own piss, it's not that depending on how salty it is, but you can actually drink it. It's if you drink it straight from the bottle, it's sterile.
It just sucks.
It's sterile. It mostly tastes like salt and
I
and
smoke so much weed, I think I get high. Honest to God.
off your own piss.
Because when I go to the gym,
the
like,
THC chemical.
when I go to the gym, my sweat smells like weed. So I actually wonder,
That's
like,
so degenerate.
yeah.
That's the most degenerate shit.
If you smoke to lock my hair, you might get high. You know, I swear to God. You gotta try to say like it's like. So I might get high off my own piss. You never know.
There's CBD in it.
Yeah.
It's CBD in the urine.
So what happened?
So
And then
yeah,
you keep
tell us
walking
how did
6
you
hours.
Literally, just as I thought, you know, we're gonna fucking call it quits, we start seeing fucking base camp, right?
Oh, shit.
But at that point we're like, we see it, but it's like you can't gauge like, is that an hour away? Because you're like on the side of a mountain, you're like, is that an hour, 2 hours? You
Right.
see it, but you're like, fuck, like
You're tired.
you're tired, man. Like
Yeah.
physically, you're like, yo, like this is.
Right, yeah, you're at your
I'm
limits.
at my limit.
But you know what?
man.
You did it. Yeah, you fucking did, right? And you didn't piss? You didn't drink your own piss?
I'm not.
Oh, wow, dude, you did it.
No,
He tasted it first, like, no, I'm gonna keep walking.
No, dude, if you drank your own piss, that'd be a more gangster story, man. Why are you congratulating him? Like, and you drank your piss and you survived? Yeah, that's gangster. That's Bear Grylls quality.
I've
Do it on camera.
I've drank one of my ex's piss.
That's not a hiking situation. That's not a hiking situation.
That was leisurely.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a leisure activity.
That wasn't purposeful. You know what I'm trying to say? It just happened. He was like, "Plah." Yeah. Like, yeah. It's
So
not
how
that
long was the walk from the place to base camp?
Oh, fuck. Like from that point, it was only 3 hours.
So 9 hours.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So 9 hours second day. First day we did 15 hours.
Wow.
That's some serious hiking. How many kilometers was that?
Fuck, I
So
don't know.
50?
It was, yeah, I think maybe like
Probably over.
a little, maybe 50, 60.
Damn.
That's like a triple.
And also it's like-
fucking
It's
crazy.
like here to
The incline is what kills you, dude. The
Oh,
incline is like,
it's
holy
rugged.
fuck.
Oh yeah,
man.
yeah.
You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, like, you know, it's only like a 30-degree incline, but actually it adds up.
No, it adds up
It
so
adds
much.
up,
Of
man.
course,
Like,
it adds up so
Do
much.
you
But you know what? I actually realized like the human body is actually very interesting because you're like, you don't think how, like you're not normally pushed that far, right? 'Cause you're like,
Yeah.
on a regular day, you walk into work, whatever, you're going down the street, but to be like tested like a fucking Olympic athlete for like 2 days, like dude, this is like amazing what the human body can do.
Oh yeah, man. You know we're an endurance animal.
Yeah, we were gonna say
That's
that.
how we survive.
Really?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
so did
yeah.
you know that one of the
That's
so,
what we fucking
so did you
animals
know
are.
that we can actually so there are dogs that are faster sprinters than we'll ever be, obviously. But we can actually out endure dogs. So I had a situation. I mean, this is also just beyond anecdotal, but just anecdotally. I was looking out for my friend's dog, and the dog ran off. It's like, oh fuck, can't find the dog. It's just going so fast, right? But me and my friend, we ended up walking for like an hour. And like we heard the dog off in a certain direction, and we kind of jogged after because it was still within our sight, and we eventually caught it.
Yeah.
And like so that actually explains also how we are able to survive in dangerous regions like in Africa where you have like cheetahs and shit because they actually have really bad endurance.
Just like, dude, that's why all the best
Spiders are
riders
sprint
are
animals.
Yo, hey, it's true. We're the scariest hunters possible. Because here's the thing: imagine someone that doesn't just you never stop. Imagine someone you can get away from them. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you can, but they just never fucking stop coming after you.
That's what zombies-
no matter what.
That's what zombies are.
You keep running away, and after a while, it's like, I can't even move. This motherfucker's still coming after me.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for
It's the worst fuck,
You gotta watch out for Kenyan dudes, man.
Bro, honestly,
Motherfuckers still coming after me.
I use that mentality in my life because that's all you need, bro. Basically, you just need to outlast the motherfucker. That's all it is, bro.
It's war of attrition.
Straight up.
Oh,
It's
you
a war
fucked
of
the war of attrition?
Yeah, man, that's it.
It's the war of attrition, bro. That's the definition of the war of attrition.
I know
I will out-resource you.
My efforts never really about.
Well, that's like my training strategy. I can say more retarded than you can say solvent.
Oh, dude, that's so funny.
I get that, bro.
Worst.
My thing basically,
Bag
yo.
holders, man.
Worst.
No.
Yo, you know Kathy Wood bought like millions of shares of Tesla recently?
Oh.
Yo, I'm like, they fell down like 8% since when she bought. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bitch? Yo, bag holders, man. There's so many
Oh, you think you're gonna-
Yo, there's people.
You think you're
I know
gonna
a guy.
mug me? I'm a fucking retard, bro. You're not mugging me. I'm fucking holding this bag, motherfucker. Try it.
All this shit going on. All this shit going on. Like,
so
well past the rug. It's coming back 5
Yo,
years later.
AMC stock, man.
Holy
Too funny,
fuck.
man.
Oh.
Dude, too funny, man. Down 35%, I think, in 1 month now. dude, you had all these retail investors, bag holders, man. Dude, they bought it fucking like $10 or $12, trading at like $5. Oh, some shit. Dude, man, that GameStop made sense. I mean, like the amount of shares that were being shorted was so high. But AMC, like there's have you guys looked into the AMC stock conspiracies? Yo, there's some crazy conspiracies about that. Some people think that they're like fake shares being sold on like the dark web or some shit. I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, what are you talking about? I met a guy.
Wait. You know there's dark web stock exchange, right?
Well, there's okay, but
You know I've traded shares in the dark web stock exchange.
Well, like you mean over the
That's
counter?
the highest degree of degeneracy.
Dude.
It's like I'm
I've traded shares.
Why?
Use the regular one.
Clarify what you mean though.
Yo,
Clarify
there's
there's a more understandable version of that. There's a less understandable.
there's multiple stock exchanges that exist on the dark web.
But how do you know they're legit stock exchanges?
Market size.
Market size?
And volume.
But can't it just be fake? Can't
No,
they just be
well,
fake
I mean-
shares? They could be fake shares.
Sure, they can fake the volume, I guess.
Yeah,
for
they
sure,
could.
right?
Easily.
But
In code, you can just fake it on Questrade. Like, well, I'm not saying they would do it on Questrade, but
So
like,
what-
it is just
what-
data. They just need to convince you that you own a share.
What I would say, the dark web.
With those Androids.
the dark web is all based on reputation.
Sure. Yeah.
So 100%, I assume that they're inflating their value.
Yeah, probably.
I assume.
Yeah.
But a lot of it basically is based on access. You need access to that fucking website.
So is this equivalent to over the counter? Is that what
OTC, but
yeah, it's an OTC.
Non-stigmatized.
Yeah,
OTC is possible.
Yeah, OTC.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And there's a couple of them.
Sure, but like whether or not there's so much that AMC is like,
pods.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's a little. I don't think that is probably the case, but.
But no, if I had a big position, here's the thing. I will say this. So the first capital raise I ever worked on was Crypto Global. I worked on a bunch of bullshit crypto fucking exchange capital raises. One of the most bullshit one was Riot Blockchain. I'm not sure you guys know about.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
They have the highest market cap right now amongst Bitcoin miners. Yeah, in the US.
Yeah. So I forget his name. The CEO.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was selling his shares on the dark web.
I believe it. That's fucked up.
That sounds like a scumbag.
That's super
Just part record.
I think I need to explain this, right? So CEOs, when they're in a company that knows failing, if you just sell your shares, it obviously seems publicly that your company's like shit, right? So what you do then is that you privately share them.
Oh yeah.
Privately is you have to get creative. At the end of the day, your share is just a share. It's a physical thing. How do you sell it, right? So you have to find a broker at the end of the day. So if you find a broker to do that shit, it's the medium they use it at. Yeah, and the dark web works well for that shit.
You can do ODC, yeah. There's also something called dark pools. JP Morgan runs a dark pool.
Yeah.
But that's perfectly legal. But what's not legal is, it is, I guess, legal, the Tor browser stuff. But like, that's kind of crazy, yeah. That's super.
Just moving capital.
Yeah, just moving capital, yeah. That's super crazy. But yeah, I don't know.
I know a lot of scumbags, allegedly.
Yeah,
facetious
yeah, fucking looking at four of them right here. Yeah, I know a lot of scumbags too, man.
No, I know a lot of scumbags though. I know like a lot. Oh, there's a lot of legitimate scumbags out there, bro.
Well, you're
Professional scumbags.
Oh yeah, bro.
Man, I don't want to know any scumbags.
All the broker there's a reason why Lee Joe's game doesn't exist anymore. There's a reason why.
I don't know them.
Oh, bro, all these broker dealers, man, all this shit that's happening on these, bro, it's so sketchy, man.
Securities law violations.
Oh my, no, it's not even that. It's basically like
OSC coming in.
The investments going underwater because they're so shit, and then basically some larger entity just purchasing all of those entities because they just want to have control over the capital.
The funniest IPO recently is Grindr.
Oh yeah,
that's
dude, I would buy shares of that shit.
It went down like 70% in like 2 weeks. Dude, it was a SPAC.
When it goes back up, it's gonna look like a dick.
Yeah.
So I'd buy that, bro. I fucking buy Grindr, man. I told you, I said last time, I'm bullish on the gays.
You bullish on the gays?
The gays?
Dick shape recovery.
Exactly, man.
Hot shit. Hot shit recovery.
But the gays don't need a dating app though.
The gays have lobby power, man. And they have, public support.
Let's be honest though.
Okay, all right.
Let's be honest. The gays don't need a dating app. The same way hot chicks don't need a dating app. Hot chicks get dick anywhere they want.
Well, it makes it more efficient.
Yeah.
For location purposes.
Exactly.
Yeah, all I'm trying to say, like, and
especially, you're taking your gay old vacations, you go to like Turkey or whatever, you go to connect with a Turkish dude before you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I know a lot of people who, for example, pay for. Actually, I think most of my friends who use Tinder or Hinge pay for it.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's just more efficient.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I'm black.
I mean, it's not that expensive. It makes sense.
I'm black.
Also, just be able to choose the.
No, so actually, this is something I'll even share this. I'm not even just black. I'm very black. Like I'm a dark skinned black guy.
Yeah, sure.
BLT.
Yeah,
BLT.
Dude, you're so black. You're like purple.
BLT.
The dating apps are horrible for me, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. The dating apps are.
I've heard. Yes.
Completely. There's no point in using them. There's actually literally.
Fair enough.
There's zero
that
point.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. Absolutely no. There's no value. There's no value.
No, I believe you. I hear.
There's no value.
No, you told me some epic stories, man. You told me you met some girls on there getting fucking pussy.
Okay, so there's one time I cuckold someone. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Exactly. That's amazing,
that's
bro.
So
that's
funny.
like that's value add.
So funny.
That's not even that good of a story. We gotta try to, but basically,
that's amazing.
That's an amazing story. That's an amazing story. I've never done that. I want to do that.
As a black guy, I'm just trying to say, the experience there is not the same at all. There's no point in using it. You're actually way better off in public. And to be quite honest, the thing I will say is that the one thing, it's actually almost like really benefited me, because I can't use dating apps, I literally do have to be out there, right? And it's actually forcing me to be out there more
Oh, that's
often.
good. Yeah.
Yo, what if you change your photo to someone like a celebrity who looks like you?
No, you can't do that. You get banned. You get banned for that.
It is a
Really?
Nope. Yeah, they'll ban you. No, because you're catfishing. They'll ban you for that.
Yeah.
That's catfish. They'll ban you.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's straight.
You can just say I'm a big fan.
That's
It's
identity
fine.
fraud. They'll ban you.
Yeah.
I look up to this guy.
it just doesn't work. Yeah, it's much easier for me to actually. Like,
Well, why don't you like pay so you can choose the filter? Like actually,
it doesn't matter.
like
bro.
target your prey.
No, it doesn't. I'm not. I'm not.
Target your prey.
So here's the
Well,
thing.
it's true. I mean, like if you know, hey, this is the type of woman I want, might as well just pay for it. Just like you go right in, man.
So I hear you. If yeah.
As Elon says, go straight to the end.
The fortunate thing for me is that like I personally think that like I don't know if I am or not. I personally think I'm very attractive, so I have the confidence to like if I like a girl, I'll just go talk to her.
Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you.
And-
That's
and-
awesome.
And that's much easier for me. It's much easier.
Good trait.
Yeah. But because dating apps do not work for me, bro.
No, I hear you.
Dating
Yeah.
apps don't work for most of guys. Dude, dating apps for 85% dudes, so right there and then you're outnumbered like a motherfucker. And then secondary, it's like the Chads kind of win at the top,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of like, and then so you have to be like a peak performing top fucking guy. That's all the girls on there are like, all the guys on there are scum. I'm like, yeah, it's because you're trying to fucking date Chad. Like, of course, Chad's fucking 500 bitches at once. He gives a fuck about you.
You could probably pick up a girl in Japan though.
Toronto guys hit up girls anywhere outside of Toronto. Period.
Oh my god. Nasty hoes, bro.
Dating Toronto. Here's the thing. That's what I realized. Dating Toronto is complex because of selection. You need to be deliberate in your dating. So basically, it's almost you need to find someone that's also deliberate in their dating as well too.
Well, the city's also it's evolving, right? It's like you're getting a lot more diverse crowd. People who are not just coming in for school, coming in for work. The playing field is a lot different now than like fucking 10 years ago, right? Like,
Thank you to our 24 followers on the Skybunker podcast.
Oh, nice.
We have 24 followers.
But yeah, but
We're gonna have 50 by next week.
It's true though. It's like, well, the city is like growing really quickly, right? So you almost have to like, the one thing one of my friends was saying to me is like, it's when you first move here, it's like it's really hard to find your tribe.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard to find your
Yeah,
tribe.
yeah,
Like
well said,
finding
yeah.
like, dude, like the fucking the Uber. Like Uber I just took an Uber here, right? Like, and the guy moved here from Vancouver.
Yeah.
Or he's from some Cranbrook, BC, or something like that. Some place in BC, and he's like, he just moved here last year, and
You want a beer?
sure.
Yeah. Oh, you like hammer, bro.
yeah, so my Uber here now, and he was like telling me, he's like, oh, I just moved here from BC last year. I don't really like Toronto so far.
Or do you have to let me
I
like
lived in
try
BC my whole life, and like it's really hard to make friends here.
Can I try it? Takes a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's like, you know,
Yeah, I understand.
he's like, it's hard to make friends here.
Yeah, it can be hard to make friends anywhere.
I'll
I
try to switch it.
And I was like, oh man, like, you know, you gotta, in a city like this, you know, you gotta really
Cheers.
My guy.
go out of your way, find your hobbies,
I don't know if
interests
it's
and all
good
that. Like, pace of life is obviously very different than like
It's okay.
northern BC.
It's a light beer.
right?
I like it.
It's a light beer. It tastes like.
No, this Toronto's different because we were in Barcelona, and we were so damn surprised that
I was
all
in Barcelona,
day
Canada, we
there was a
traveled.
lot of people outside, and I was questioning, don't these people work at all?
Yo.
Like,
No.
don't they have jobs? Are you paying your bills?
That was a good trip with you in Barcelona. We had a good time. I was reviewing the photos after. Like, you had a good time in Canada. That was really
Yeah.
fun.
It's I chilling,
Go,
right?
go.
Just
Yeah.
chilling.
Dude, the
It's amazing.